And hello, and welcome back to the Extreme Championship Series here for EV.io. My name is Nick Frog. With me is Jim Basco, of course. And here we are, the culmination of every single qualifier I've had. Finally, it is already here. The playoffs, and we had some round one matchups already played out here, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, this is basically the cream of the crop of the talents that we have had for the past few qualifiers, man.
Yeah, absolutely. EVIO, man, the game's come such a long way. I'm so happy to see the level of competition and where it is currently. Last time we had the opportunity to compensate the game, we had some insane matches, Sneaky, so I'm so happy to be back and bringing you guys the best of the best in EV.io action once again.
Yeah, and I'm pretty much hyped because this is basically we have the best EV.io teams going at it after a very lengthy and grueling qualifiers for the past few weeks that we have had. So yeah, I mean, I think every single team, every single player, definitely on their toes today because they know what's basically on the line today.
Absolutely, yeah. And it looks like we're going to be focusing on one side of the bracket, obviously. Today, we'll be looking at the first match between Eternity EU and Oprah Toper. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, Sneaky, but Eternity, that's a team we're familiar with, right?
Yep, Eternity EU, of course, had showing in I think that was last week or last week's qualifier actually. So, and definitely a team that you should not mess around with, especially the members have had quite the how would you say this? Have quite the trajectory in terms of their improvement here as a team for Return to EU. Here's Copies and Lukin having a hell of a splash going in towards the EV.io scene, and Buckhauser as well, the long-standing player keeping the team together, of course. So I would expect Eternity EU to really make their name known, especially here in the XCS.
Yeah, names we're so familiar with, names that we've had so much fun pronouncing on stream as well. Of course, Eternity EU can't be messed around with. With Oprah Toper, though, that's a team I'm unfamiliar with for sure. So, I love the opportunity for competition because it always leads to more storylines, right? Maybe this is going to be a dark horse team that will be able to put up a good competition against Eternity EU and really give them a run for their money, right? For a long time, we've had a pretty dominant couple of teams in the Xborg squads, of course, Eternity teams throughout EU that have stayed at the top. It would be awesome to see more competition there, and maybe this team will be exactly what we're looking for, Sneaky. So I'm definitely excited, and all this action is just around the corner. Of course, we want to shout out our sponsors for making this possible, and Brave, Swissborg, and Community Gaming, Sneaky. Without them, obviously, this would not be possible.
Yeah, shout out to every single sponsor that we do have right now, right under us. And of course, Brave, once again, if you are a Brave user, you do get 10% earning boost right in the EV.io game itself. Then they're also responsible for the 50% jump that we do have in earnings in the game itself. So I'm doing a bit of farming, and it's been pretty enjoyable as well, and I've been earning a lot more in E thanks to Brave.
Yeah, it's been a really great time. I was actually playing just before this, farming some lobbies, making some people mad. I like when they call me a hacker. It's always a good time. That's how you know you're doing well. So it's always fun. But with that said, we're going to be taking a short break while we get some things figured out, and we'll be bringing you the action right after that. We'll see you shortly. Perhaps not. Maybe I misheard.
We had a dream 5 years ago, and look what happened.
Raised $52 million from 24,000 individuals from the four corners of the world. Launch the first crypto app to educate the world. Released the Xborg app, serving 700,000 community members. The CHSB token hits unicorn status with $1.4 billion market cap. Xborg ranks top 5 DeFi players in the world. All of this thanks to you, the best community in the world.
If you want to take part in the next 5 years, hop on.
The DeFi path is not an easy one. You will face many challenges and risks. So you'll need the right tools. With Xborg Earn, ease your path to the rewards you deserve. No effort, no worries. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy earning on your crypto. Xborg Earn. Xborg Earn.
We had a dream 5 years ago, and look what happened.
Raised $52 million from 24,000 individuals from the four corners of the world. Launch the first crypto app to educate the world. Released the Xborg app, serving 700,000 community members. The CHSB token hits unicorn status with $1.4 billion market cap. Xborg ranks top 5 DeFi players in the world. All of this thanks to you, the best community in the world.
If you want to take part in the next 5 years, hop on.
The DeFi path is not an easy one. You will face many challenges and risks. So you'll need the right tools. With Xborg Earn, ease your path to the rewards you deserve. No effort, no worries. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy earning on your crypto. Xborg Earn. Xborg Earn.
hello, and welcome back to the Extreme Championship Series for EV.io. My name's Xborg. With me is Jim Bosco. Of course, bit of technical issues just right behind us. We are going to go straight into some EV.io action in just a bit, of course. It is going to be Oprah. How do you say this? Oprah Toper, once again. I think they're a Polish team from what I've seen on their profile on Community Gaming and Eternity EU. So let us who is gonna be going into this one, but I think we're just gonna get our usual rotations of maps. Of course, it is Strike and Temple, Momentum, Fractal, of course, just kind of mixing in between those three, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what happens is the best way to put it, right? The competition is so volatile. Everyone is so good who plays this game at the highest level. So really, on any day, the competition could go either way. I'm excited to see this Oprah Toper team, as you mentioned. Newer competition for sure. Newer competition is always good for the community. That just means they're either bringing something new to the table, you're going to have to step up your own game, or maybe they won't live up to the hype. We'll have to see, Sneaky. But the expectations are definitely high. There's a lot on the line for these teams. Of course, playing in the Extreme Championship Series, having competing all summer long. So the competition continues, man, and we're happy to bring you the action today, Sneaky.
Yeah, and I mean, in between these two teams, I think I would say if Eternity did want a good start in this game, this is the side of the bracket to do so, considering Xborg is on the exact opposite. So, you know, it could be really good news for them at this point. So I would say
this is very true.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about what could be the openers here for some of the teams here, especially for Xborg. I think everyone is expecting a Eternity versus Xborg final, probably.
Yeah, that's most likely what's going to happen. However, like we said, right, there's a lot of the teams here that we're just not so sure about. So we're going to have to see. Maybe they will be an X factor that will just completely knock things out of equilibrium. I hope that's the case. I always love seeing new competition hop into it. But lots of teams there. Of course, in the top right, you're seeing AOK versus Eternity Power. And then at the bottom right, the match we were going to start with today, Oprah Toper versus Eternity EU. We'll be bringing you the quarters, the semis, and then eventually the grand finals. So lots of action still just around the corner here. And of course, want to shout out our sponsors, Xborg, for putting on the entire tournament here, Swissborg, Community Gaming, and of course Brave Browser. Like Sneaky mentioned earlier, right now if you hop into EVIO on Brave Browser, there is it's double earnings for the month of June. So get in, get your money up, not your funny up, right, Sneaky, and start earning. All you have to do is hop in and play some deathmatch. It's easy to do. You can play it on anything that connects to the internet.
Yeah, but we do recommend you do it on a Brave Browser because you do get that extra bump at least for your earnings of that. But yeah, we are just ready and roaring for some of these teams to Oprah Toper and Eternity to get into the server, possibly playing that first Dragon Temple map already, prepping and incoming. But yeah, I would say I think the TBD part on the top left, that is the Xborg side of the bracket. They're still playing their round of 16, so they can get into the round of 8 and then eventually going into semis possibly here. But yeah, I would expect all teams play out of their minds today because prize is definitely something to play for, especially when you're only three people on the squad, and that's a lot.
That's a lot. You know what I mean? You can definitely divvy that up in a great way. So I think the tension's going to be high. There's, you know, historically when we've been watching EV.io tournaments and competition, it really comes down to which team has better teamwork, shot calling, and they can like work together to swarm the other team, right? That speed, that precision is really key. I wonder if that's going to maintain, like stay the same here, or if people are going to adapt. Maybe we'll see more stationary play with the snipers and the laser rifles and things like that, you know, doing more damage at a distance and playing more of a keep away game. I wonder what we'll see today. I'm excited to see how these players are coming into it because like you mentioned, man, the prizes are so high, the stakes are so high, and the tension even higher for these players. So I'm excited for them, and of course they've been competing for quite some time at this point. Like you said, just finishing the round of 16. These guys are ready and raring to go, and so are we. We're happy, we're just excited to get into these quarterfinals before you bring you the rest of the matches for today.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, or just waiting for the teams to get into the server itself, and then we are gonna skip right onto the first map, which is gonna be Dragon Temple. Time and time again, we have seen this one. Of course, teleporters on both sides, fast-paced action towards the left and the right side. And it's not just limited to the map itself. You know, the outside of the map is also playable here. So, and make sure that you do have that capped off, and make sure you do secure those special weapons. A lot of high ground that you can take in Dragon Temple, especially near the middle side. So maybe we are gonna see some teams try to prioritize that for their opening fight. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that we've seen a bunch of teams do. Of course, they'll send out someone straight to the middle to try and get the power up, someone around the edges to try and create some sort of distraction. So there's a lot of ways you can approach this. Really, I'm excited to see how this game has been developing. EV.io, it's come such a long way, and it looks like the teams are ready to rock, and we're heading right on into it with the team in red. Eternity EU already up at 4 as Oprah Toper down at 1. Things are off to a great start here.
Yep, and I mean, so far, Eternity EU, their usual pace is just fast, just as much as possible, and maybe try to sit back. But I think they're just going to try to maximize the power weapons that they have at the moment. And yeah, it's just going to be Lucan having himself a hell of a show here. But I think Oprah Toper is not going to take this one lying down, that's for sure.
For sure, yeah, they just started firing back. I like the confidence there. That's the biggest thing. Even if you don't have the score lead, you still need to play with the same confidence, right? You can't lose your confidence and then start playing poorly just because the score is down. There's always an opportunity for Eternity EU. However, that hurts, of course, taking 1 point off their own team as Oprah Toper returns with another. They're closing that gap, Sneaky, as we were just talking about. 6 points separating the two squads, and with 6 minutes left on the clock, you know, we are playing to 50 here. You know, whatever team is able to make it up there. But Oprah Toper definitely not out for the count. Slowing it down a bit, though, with these smokes for sure, as Eternity pops it open, finds another quick 2-1 Sneaky.
Yep. And just gonna slow down the pace here. Turn to EU 5-13. Definitely an advantage in terms of the score here, plus the control side of the map. They do have the high ground and a possible wraparound here on towards Oprah Toper, who is trying to jump onto Lucan, but Lucan instead gets the beam.
Oh, nice. Nicely done. The wrap is good. Trying to finish off the second one into the smoke. Trying to blitz through. Loses track, and with the help of a teammate, is able to lock that frag down. Eternity EU 17 to Oprah Toper 7 is what we talk about when running away with the game. They're setting the pace for sure, turning it up, and of course, names that were so familiar, right? Of course, Copies being the one that kind of steals the spotlight. We keep talking about this guy every time we watch him in a match. Just one of those players that makes those jaw-dropping plays, you know what I mean? Like, really sets the standard for what you can do in EV.io.
Yeah, I mean, you can't forget about Lucan as well. He's kind of popping off, having himself a hell of a well. I mean, it is a deadly combination of players that Eternity EU has concocted with their clan. And it seems like it is working out in Dragon Temple so far. 7-23, quite the heft, and already almost at the halfway point, not even halfway in the game. I think Eternity EU could just be looking to end this first map in that very fast fashion.
Absolutely, man. We talk about time and chemistry, right? Time together equals chemistry. Eternity, they've got that. They've got what feels like an eternity playing together, right? This is a team that we've seen for such a long time, and they just flow. They know what the teammate is going to do. They're reacting to it without even probably having to speak. If we got a view of their comms, I'm not sure if it would be hectic or calm, but either way, whatever they've got going is working for them. Eternity tripling the score of Oprah Toper with 4 minutes and 15 seconds left on the clock. They are absolutely dominating across the board.
Up and turn to EU 20 kill lead so far. Oprah Toper still trying to look for that opening, but in terms of EU, they just have the entire map contained their side. They're just winning all their fights, but they're gonna try to at least stay in the game. But I think the EU, once again, they're just gonna try to end this one as quick as possible. But the problem is, Oprah Toper start to kind of turtle up here to try and see if they can contain it as much as possible. But in terms of EU, from at this point, it's gonna be a struggle for any team to even catch up to this scoreline.
Absolutely. A struggle is putting it lightly. 39 points for Eternity EU. They're looking for 11 more frags here as Copies across the map from the high position, just lasering as the rest of his team in Lucan and Barrel shut it down, chasing down the remnants of what Copies has left, and now impulsing in, teleporting on top, trying to find the last kill there. Oprah definitely in a sticky situation as Eternity EU. They're only 7 away from winning in this first round.
Yeah, a 5-minute affair possibly here for the side of Eternity EU if they do decide to just jump in and go for the jugular of this game. And almost a 30-kill lead, and they're just going to point. They're just like, all right, it's finally time to end this one. Let's not waste any time. Save some energy for the possible next round in the playoffs as Oprah. This isn't looking good for their outlook in the series, being down by this much. Dragon Temple.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the more like classic maps of the game itself, so it does kind of say a lot, right? Like if you can't control the high ground on this map, you're not going to have a good time on some of those other maps. Eternity EU absolutely dominant in their first match here, 50 to Oprah 17. Shout outs to this stacked team, Eternity EU. It looks like they're going to go far today, Sneaky.
Yeah, I mean, performing just as expected. Lucan with a stellar 26-7 to start things off here in Dragon Temple. He is not getting around at all, even with almost 2 minutes and 30 seconds to spare, actually, going into this map number 1. So, yeah, I mean, this is what we expected here from Eternity EU. I mean, they're just, yeah, playing a fast pace and making sure that they're just playing in the face of the opponents here.
Absolutely, and Oprah, you know, it's hard for a team with less chemistry than Eternity EU to react properly to that sort of aggression, right? You need to be so coordinated to be able to back off and take those shots and, you know, have the shot calling in place. Eternity EU has all that experience plus more. So definitely, like you said, kind of expected here. I was hoping Oprah would be that X factor variable, but you know, maybe in this next match they're going to be able to put something on a different map here, right? Sneaky, where are we headed? What's the game plan for this next one?
Yeah, next one is gonna be, if I am not mistaken, it is gonna be Momentum, the bigger take on EV.I, but it is more of a closed map, a lot more covered, to say the least, but at the same time, there's huge chasms that you could say in this map that kind of leaves some of these players out in the open, so they really have to be careful on where they're impulsing here on some of these spots, because if the moment you stop out in the open here, you are basically dead meat.
Yeah, now you're watching the teams roll out. Eternity EU once again leading in this series 1-0 over Oprah Eternity in the red. Oprah in the green. And it looks like there may be...
Yeah, just need a bit of a reset. I think one of them did not connect. Yep, I think Morphan pieced out his EV, basically. Yeah, I think, yeah, we're just going to make a little restart here. Yeah, turn to EU, of course, just swinging around, making sure that they are warm. But yeah.
Absolutely. It's like a fighting game, man. You got to keep your hands warm. It's important. You know what I mean? You lose your groove for a second, then you might just get messed up for the whole round. Who knows? It's all a feeling. I got to say, FPS, man, I really love it because at the highest level, especially in a game like EV.IO, where you have so many movement abilities and you have so many options, you can really see how someone is thinking on a very personal level. Like, okay, this is the kind of person they are. This is the kind of peak that they're going to take. These are the kind of moves that they're going to do, right? You know someone's aggressive. You know they're a hothead. They're probably going to come impulsing at you, crouch sliding, okay? You know that you can set up with a sniper and kind of wait for them to wide swing. If you know someone's a bit more passive as a person, you know you might have to be the one swinging them. So I like that back and forth, and seeing it evolve as we move through the bracket is always good, and seeing it evolve even in the match itself would be awesome. So Oprah, maybe, you know, with their learnings from that first game, they're able to adapt and overcome in the second one. Maybe take us to a third, Sneaky.
Yeah. I mean, a third map would be very nice here in this best of 3. Of course, third map bangers are always welcome, especially in these types of tournaments. And yeah, I mean, it's quite a surprise if Eternity EU do get randomly challenged, especially in a map like Momentum. But yeah, hopefully Oprah might have their pockets that we do not know about just yet.
Yeah, absolutely. We never know. Of course, Eternity EU, a stacked team, like we're saying, so they're expected to win this next one. However, you never know. Never say never. It looks like both teams are ready to rock, so we will be heading back into the match momentarily here as Eternity EU is still in the lead 1-0 over Obertoper, the underdogs for sure in this matchup, but they, the story will continue and they will head on into their second match here, so I'm excited to say the least, Sneaky. Hopefully Eternity EU can make a good showing out of it like they did that first one.
Yeah, I mean, Eternity EU definitely going to be showing up in map number 2. I mean, their short-range and long-range fights have been pretty consistent, to say the least. I think I would say if we are going to be betting on who is going to be doing those entries, once again, you're going to have your eyes on Lukin, who has had a hell of a last game, 26-7. And mostly it's him leading the aggression for his team.
Yeah, just absolutely on fire. And you can see the positioning of Eternity EU, right? They've got their team moving as a unit, picking up the power-ups, impulsing together, taking control of this left side. Even though the smoke nade gets deployed, Lucan's able to pick one up. Morphan, though, returns with one of their own as Obertoper finds 2 in a row. Lucan returns, Obertoper find a third. And in the middle of it all, Lucan, losing his footing on the high ground, drops down, drops a mine, sticks to the corners, has a smoke in the way, tries to hit the shot, and will connect onto Morphin for some damage as Barrel finishes it off. Eternity take back the lead. Yeah, definitely a closer game here for sure in this second one. Oprah at 5, Eternity at 8.
They can lead. I mean, Oprah, this is a better spot than they were last game, that's for sure. Eternity EU simply cannot just jump in here. Momentum is such a different map. And if you do get around the corner and there's 3 crosshairs looking at you, that's not going to be good. Lucan, that's a good opening.
Absolutely. Lucan thrives in those situations where he's able to do a lot of damage and have the rest of his team follow up. That's exactly what we saw happen there. Eternity. Teamwork makes the dream work, baby. We talk about it. It's kind of cheesy at this point, but it's the reality. You see them lining up as a firing squad and just taking down the other team, moving together, diving in from across the map, and just full committing. You see Copies pull off a two-piece, and of course Oprah responds with a 2-piece of their own, but Eternity still leading by about 7, kind of doubling the score of the green team. But keeping the pressure up here. Morphan gonna go down. Lucan good for 2 more in a row. Beautifully done. Eternity at 18. Obertoper at 10. And with 5 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock, Lucan across the map whiffs on that one. Of course, the TP making it hard to hit those shots. Morphin aware he's getting held by the sniper. Going to make quick work of traversing the chasm. Eternity at 21 here. Lucan still working with the sniper, but the smoke's really denying a lot here, Sneaky.
Yeah, I mean, almost a 10-kill lead here for the side of Eternity, and they're just going to keep on fighting. Even Oprah losing one of their points because of an apparent game end on towards themselves. But, yeah, I mean, Eternity EU is kind of the same pace that we saw in that last game. As soon as game 5, they're just going to keep that gas pedal down, and they are not going to stop anytime soon. And Oprah, they are not going to enjoy these minutes, that's for sure, because it is just going to be Eternity EU impulsing in.
They just keeping the pressure up, man. I love to see it. Eternity EU really just keeping the pedal to the metal. This is good to watch, too, because Eternity, they started off this match a lot closer. Oprah, they seem to be the ones that were setting the pace for just a moment. You saw Morphan start with 2-piece at the very beginning of this head-to-head combat situation between Eternity and Oprah, but Eternity fired back. They took control of the situation, are setting the tempo now, and they are just finding these shots from across the map with the hand cannon here. Great tracking there mid-air from Lucan. Finds number 32, make that 33 from Barrel on the side of Eternity. And this red team is just on fire, Sneaky.
Yep, and I think Eternity EU could just look for the ender here as Oprah. You know, it's been a nice time, guys, but Eternity EU, they're on a different mission, on a different level at the moment. And yeah, they are just looking for the end to this. And yeah, I think we're gonna go into some possible winning team comps here for Eternity EU.
One low.
Yeah, that. Two more there.
And
Nice.
one more. Ah, okay.
No,
He's
we
dead,
can
he's
kill him. We can kill him. They're probably gonna spawn long. I think they're.
Yeah.
I'm coming to you. Oh my god, roll 3 there.
What the fuck is this, man?
Yeah.
Oh,
One dead. One more in smoke low. Nice.
Long again.
Yeah, one behind. Oh, behind us. Nice.
maybe one more is coming.
I'm pushing mid. Small ramp now.
Yeah. Nice.
One more slow.
One more. Small the ramp.
Connect
Nice.
slow, bro. I don't know where he is.
One more.
He's long. Big ramp.
I don't know. He's somewhere on me, I think.
Oh, two. Two on
Where?
big ramp. Two on big ramp.
Okay,
one
I'm
very low.
pushing. Dead.
Free right now.
Nice.
Bro, this instant ace.
There it is. The winning comes for the boys over at the Eternity EU squad. Seems like everything is working out. Everything is a well-oiled machine over at Eternity EU, and no slip-ups, no nothing. Just a clean 2-0 for the boys over at Eternity.
Yeah, just a clean 2-0. You could hear them calm, cool, and collected. They were just having a good time, like you said, right? They just chilling. These guys are not pressed. They had clear communications, even though they were a bit hectic. No one was panicking. Everyone was hitting their shots. Big ramp. They get the port up there. They're just closing in on this enemy team from all sides at all times. You know, that is what we're talking about. Like you said, a well-oiled machine, to say the least, Sneaky. So with that, they're going to be moving on to the semifinals, making a quick work out of Oprah, which, you know, shout-outs to them. They made it this far, but Sneaky, they were no match for Eternity EU.
Yeah, I mean, Eternity EU, they're just a different beast entirely, to say the least. And I think the semifinal matchup is going to be really good because it's either going to be AOK or Eternity Power, so they could possibly be taking out one of their own. But I think Eternity EU definitely one of the favorites to make it all the way here.
Absolutely. We're going to keep a close eye on them throughout the day. But, of course, we've got a ton more matches just around the corner. When, you know, we'll get a look at the bracket at some point. Of course, there is another quarterfinals match. There's some semifinals action. And then we'll be heading to the grand finals. Of course, it's all part of the Xborg Championship Series brought to you by Brave, Swissborg, Xborg, a part of Swissborg, and Community Gaming, Sneaky. So shout outs to all of them.
And yeah, that is it for this quarterfinal. We will see you in the semis. We were going to stream up, of course. So, guys, do not go anywhere. When we come back, more EV.io action coming at you. See you in a bit.
We had a dream 5 years ago, and look what happened.
Raised $52 million from 24,000 individuals from the four corners of the world. Launch the first crypto app to educate the world. Released the Swissborg app, serving 700,000 community members. The CHSB token hits unicorn status with $1.4 billion market cap. Swissborg ranks top 5 DeFi players in the world. All of this thanks to you, the best community in the world.
If you want to take part in the next 5 years, hop on.
The DeFi path is not an easy one. You will face many challenges and risks. So you'll need the right tools. With Swissborg Earn, ease your path to the rewards you deserve. No effort, no worries. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy earning on your crypto. Swissborg Earn. Swissborg Earn.
We had a dream 5 years ago, and look what happened.
Raised $52 million from 24,000 individuals from the 4 corners of the world. Launch the first crypto app to educate the world. Released the Swissborg app, serving 700,000 community members. The CHSB token hits unicorn status with $1.4 billion market cap. Swissborg ranks top 5 DeFi players in the world. All of this thanks to you, the best community in the world.
If you want to take part in the next 5 years, hop on.
The DeFi path is not an easy one. You will face many challenges.
And there it is. Hello and welcome back to the Extreme Championship Series. My name is Nick Frog. With me is Jim Bosco, of course, and we are in the semifinals of this best of 3 banger, of course, that we are just about to have. And of course, we just had a best of 3 banger, of course, earlier during the EU. Really showing Oprah Toper what is up in that quarterfinal matchup, and they are here to play. And speaking of Eternity EU, we might just see them play again, because they're going up against AOK this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving forward in that bracket means they're heading on into the semifinals, so we'll be showing both of those semifinals match on stream. I don't know, get excited for that. Eternity EU going up against AOK, like you just mentioned. AOK, is that a team you're familiar with, Sneaky? Personally, I don't recognize any of the players on that team off the top of my head. Eternity EU, of course, we just watched them dominate in that first quarterfinals match of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did play with some of the players here. Nate, of course, he's been around some of the tournaments as well. Cookie and your boy Frenzy has been the Pugs in that very moment. Frenzy, I know, has been playing for a bit as well. Has been, I think, yeah, Nate, of course, I think the guy that could lead this team to victory, knowing how good this guy could be. So hopefully, you know, the guy or the sole NA guy possibly on this team. I don't know if Frenzy and Cookie are from NA, but yeah, I feel like if it's anyone to do it, it is that guy. But man, you're up against Eternity EU, bro. This is gonna be a bit hard, but I'm not eliminating the possibility yet. But to see the bracket, of course, right in front of us, and it is gonna be Xborg and Hotheads on the other side.
Yeah, of course, not really surprised that Xborg made it past Beauvois Sostav. You know, may have butchered the pronunciation on that. I am sorry for that. But Xborg, definitely moving forward. We know them as one of the stronger teams in the tournament overall, fielding some of the strongest players in EV.io competition in general. The Hotheads over Band in the bottom part of that bracket as well. They'll be meeting in the semifinals, so we'll be showing off that match shortly after the AOK and Eternity EU one. So lots of action still to come just around the corner. Of course, we'll be bringing you Eternity EU versus AOK first, like Sneaky and I have been mentioning. And yeah, man, like you mentioned, lots of prize money on the line. These players are competing in the Extreme Championship Series, brought to you by Brave, Xborg, Swissborg, and Community Gaming. If you want to get involved today, it is super simple. Get the Brave browser, head on to ev.io, and you can start earning real-world money today just by playing Deathmatch. Earn up those kills, earn some coin, and convert them, and you can start using that. So it's kind of a very unique opportunity and one of the best FPS in Web3 for sure.
And yeah, we are shooting it to the AOK Eternity EU match in just a bit, of course, guys, as the players are just getting into the match room itself. Of course, both of these teams really could pack a punch. Depends on what's going to happen, of course. It is, as per usual, first map is going to be that Dragon Temple, and then we're going to lead into, hopefully, Frenzy and the boys. They do get some really good fight up against Copies, Lukin, and your boy Bach here, but hopefully, you know, it's not much of a one-sided affair, because so far that's only what we've seen when you're going up against Eternity EU so far.
That's true. I mean, I think both teams are also ready to rock, so we can head on into that game. But like you said, man, Eternity EU, just such a stacked roster, right? What are you going to do when you're up against these veterans of the game? You know, you see Copies, you see Lucan, and you see that third player in the lobby. That, you know, you're not in for a good time, man. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, these guys, so coordinated, so good with their movement, and so just precise with their gunplay. With that, though, we are heading on into the game, so let's get on in between Eternity EU versus AOK. In the green side, we're seeing AOK as Eternity EU in the red starts off with the lead 2-0 in the middle of a bunch of smoke nades here.
Yeah, I mean, a really good opener here for Eternity, already getting that 2-kill lead, looking for the finish, and they do get it. So they're already one fight ahead by the start of the game, and AOK absolutely blindsided by this aggression, just like their usual. Eternity EU, they start things off really, really fast here.
Yeah, fast is the meta right now. It seems like the quicker you are, the quicker you can get these frags, the better, especially if you can get some sort of stagger down, right? Like the TDM stagger is not that heavy, but the fact that you can even, you know, once you frag them on this side of the map, you know they're going to be spawning on the opposite side, right? So you can hit those impulses, start moving around the map, and start scouting out those next kills. AOK finally responds and put themselves on the board, though. They find 2 frags back-to-back as Eternity EU. They find number 10 on the board. Copies going huge on top of that pillar there.
Yep, that's almost a 10-kill lead here for Eternity EU. Could be kind of a replay of what we've seen in that last series, but let's not count out AOK just yet. Eternity EU, they're on a roll, but yeah, it's going to be quite the tough road to stop them, especially here on Dragon Temple. There's barely any time set. It's basically, you just have to fight whatever's in front of you at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing a great job of keeping their distance here as AOK. They're posted up, throwing a lot of nades, but it's Eternity running into them at all, keeping their distance. They're able to find the shots. Copies beautifully done. Impulses straight up, gets a bird's eye view of the situation, and lasers him down from across the map. That's what you like to see, man. And that's why I like this gun so much, honestly. You know, the laser rifle is good. It's a solid weapon, does a lot of chunking damage, but the ability to track at range, that is unfortunate. Falls straight off the map. Copies, you go so high and then fall so far.
Yep. And 4 and 22 though, not much to write home about if you are on the side of AOK, as the Eternity EU already halfway in towards the kill limit of the game, and we are not even 1/3 into the game. And yeah, I think they're just looking to get a very quick finish here, possibly knowing how quick these 3v3s can usually go. I think we can have just a solid, possibly maybe a 3-minute game, but that really depends on Eternity EU if they kind of want to play with their food.
Right, yeah. It looks like exactly like Lucan's having a great time back here. You know, now impulsing, double jumping mid-air, closes the gap, gets on top of the smoke, nails him across the back there as Frenzy hops off the side of the map. You know, rather die to Lucan or hop off the side of the map, and he made a clear choice there as Copies and Lucan combined for 2 more. Eternity at 30 as AOK struggle to get even 10.
Yeah, I mean, this is
Wow,
really
nice.
just, yeah, at this point, I think domination can just continue here for Eternity EU, especially considering, like, the names on the side of AOK, they're not even that bad. It's just that, yeah, Eternity EU, it seems like the gap between the usual teams that we see in terms of the stacks and Eternity EU really are just vastly different here, but...
Right. Yeah, like Big Brain Poppy, we're familiar with them. We've seen them play at multiple other tournaments of EV.io. So, yeah, like you're saying, they're not the worst players at all. It's just head and shoulders. Eternity EU is above AOK, and it looks like much of their competition so far. Into the semifinals now. This first match is looking like a solid victory for Eternity EU so far. Unless AOK pulls off some miraculous upset here, Eternity EU, they're making it absolutely difficult. It's a mountain to climb, Sneaky.
Yeah, I mean, 10 kills left here for Eternity EU. Can just cap off this game in very dominant fashion. Maybe even get some revenge for their teammate or their team or their fellow clan members on the turn, as they did get eliminated by AOK earlier, and I think EU has proven a point that the gap is this huge. But yep, I think this is just a victory lap for the boys over at Eternity, and we are just gonna send it on towards momentum, and hopefully that's gonna be a lot more of a story here for the side of AOK. I feel like Dragon Temple really could not be their forte here. Maybe when it comes to those slower type of maps, they can actually get the chance to play EV here.
Yeah, honestly, that seems like it may be a very viable solution, right? A slower map, maybe giving them an opportunity to use those power weapons at distance, maybe pick up an SMG and just play the game that the way they want to. Because, of course, Eternity right now, running away with it is the best way to put it. Just dominating both in performance mechanically, but also just moving as a team. You see them falling from the sky, descending like a pack of crows on the body of AOK. Down at 13, Eternity EU just need 3 more as AOK finally fire back with 2 in a row. Eternity EU are looking for 2 more, and they're on fire right now. If they can carry this momentum all the way into the finals, honestly, they are looking so good. Yeah, man. And just like that, it looks like that's going to be a finish there, Sneaky.
I mean, not much you can say at this point. Eternity really just dominating their game. No mistakes whatsoever from their side. Aggressive, aggressive jump-in type of style. And, yeah, I mean, they really just finished that one very, very quickly. And could be the same case here for momentum for map number 3, as we are just waiting for the change, of course, on towards the map, and maybe the server if one of them is from NA, but most likely we are keeping it within EU grounds in terms of the server here, because I think most of them, or if not 80% of the server is probably from there. But yeah, I mean, first game, 20 EU once again proving why they're one of the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting too, considering like the history, right? In terms of arena FPS players, we see a lot of the best arena FPS players do historically come from the EU. You know what I mean? North America tends to lack in those areas. They do better in TAC FPS shooters, but arena FPS, Europe really seems to lead the way. So it's awesome to see that conversion, maybe players from different games coming together in EV.io. So it's awesome. And if you're watching this right now and you're wondering how you can get involved, how you can get the game, EV.io in your browser. If you check out Brave browser today, actually, Sneaky, there is a pretty awesome deal going on. And you can start earning a ton of money today just by playing some deathmatch. It's a great deal.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Brave, of course, for that earnings boost, of course. And yeah, it's been a pretty happy time. Everyone grinding on that Brave browser. And for those who are just using Brave beforehand, actually, so a bit of a bonus for the homies who have been staying loyal to the orange and white. But yep, map number 2 is around the horizon. I think Momentum is gonna be locked in and ready to go in just a bit, of course. And yeah, I mean, just like I said, if AOK can slow the pace down in this second map, then maybe they can have a remote chance of beating Eternity EU here. But knowing Eternity EU, I mean, they're one of the harder ones to really crack in terms of their momentum here, if they do have every single one of it.
Yeah, man, even if they fall off their horse, they are able to keep riding somehow. We barely see them struggle to take that lead. And again, starting off this match, Eternity EU in the red, leading the series 1-0 already. They are 3-1 up in this second match here. Best of 3 game on our hands. AOK in the green. Sneaky, this is going to be awesome to watch. Eternity really just turning it up in the past couple of matches. Now we're in the semifinals. Can they keep their momentum up?
Yeah, it seems like a bad of a start, honestly. I mean, 3-3, AOK having a bit more distance in between them. I think this could really benefit them as Eternity EU. They start things off for the first time in the back end.
Yeah, wow, look at that. And I think something you mentioned there is just completely correct, right? AOK, they started off those first fights a little more separated, and they were able to punish Eternity when they hard dove in like that. So now getting trades, copies and barrels, find 2 in a row, and Lucan combines for the third. And just like that, the game is tied back up. Eternity, they slow it down for a second, regroup, gain their composure, and just like that, they're back in the lead. Find 2 in a row, and as Big Brain Poppy returns, Eternity EU still in the lead just by 1. And on the fight there from the high ground, Big Brain Poppy on top of Lucan. He's able to come out on top. 9-8, AOK takes back the lead.
Yeah, and they're just going to keep on going. I mean, sudden resurgence here from AOK after that disaster of a first game. Eternity EU now having to kind of switch up their game plan here, maybe try and be more of a death ball rather than come in here one by one with just that pure aggression. And yeah, I mean, AOK just playing the map really well. Not no overextensions really. They're just playing their side of the cover here.
Can they keep it up? AOK 10-8. Slowing down the game a lot at 6 minutes remaining here. Typically, we're much deeper into the game. AOK, though, playing their sides really well. They've got the smoke down, playing with the laser rifle, not going to connect there. AOK trying to get away, chase down, though. Copies and barrel on hot pursuit there. Eternity tie it back up, and you can see these guys moving and grooving. They're getting back into their flow, Sneaky.
Yeah, but they still need to try and see if they can just play their side of the lead here. But Eternity EU has a shot to maybe equalize the scoreline. It's no longer that far of a lead compared to what we've seen in the start of the game. And now it is only 2, so 1 really good 3-wipe coming in from the side of Eternity EU. And this is basically the lead gone. There it is.
There it is, yeah, AOK up at 15-14, and of course off that impulse, taking the slide there, keeping that momentum high. Of course, movement mechanics in this game, definitely sick. Check it out, ev.io on your browser. Check out Brave as well, and shout outs to Community Gaming and Swissborg for putting on this tournament as Eternity take back the lead. You can see them hop, jumping, bunny hopping, sliding across the map, chasing down AOK. And of course, we're hopping on with the teams now. Let's check in and hear their comms.
low. I hit barrel, copies his headshot. Both low. Going banana.
Okay.
He's tucked in a smoke right now.
Yep, they're gonna be banana.
Right, that big ramp. I saw him big ramp.
Yeah, one
close,
small.
one close. Might be banana.
Just smoking. And
I want to peek
low.
bridge a second.
Close to me, close to me. Oh, I fucking. Can't believe
Nice,
One dead
we
with
got
mine.
one.
Shotgun
Banana.
close.
Yeah,
Going
he
to
jumped.
telly.
Looking on you. All three on you.
Full damage, yeah, all three. Copies.
Get out,
just
get
deep.
out.
Yeah, you tell you got out. Nice, he's chasing you? No, he's not. Never mind.
He's using? Okay.
No. He backed off.
Barrel mid. Two mid.
Bro.
Looking as well.
Yeah, going towards you, Nate.
Yep, on me. Shotgun and banana.
One dead.
One more.
All
two
here,
more,
all
two
here.
Holy shit, I'm not gonna be able to get out. I got one.
Barrel's still in banana. He's in smoke.
Lucan's in mid as well. I just saw him coming to you.
more.
guys.
Look at mid.
Oh, fucking hell, barrel.
Diving you.
Yeah, all three.
Looking low.
Copies is low as well. He's in the smoke.
Barrel's low.
Yeah, I can't see him.
I fucking tapped
I'm
out.
split
What
from
is
you.
going on?
Copy's
My
got me
bad.
mid. Two mid. All mid.
Yeah, they got me. They're small ramp, picking spawn.
Play for respawn.
What just tell you? Oh, I'm
Mid. What? One's pushing from alley. Copy's dead.
Smoke.
Oh, copy's
Still
alive.
alive.
There it is. Bit of a glimpse of the psyche of what AOK is like after what was supposed to be a lead, and then Eternity they started to turn up randomly, and unfortunately for the side of AOK, Eternity EU, they're back in their form, and they are back in their usual mode in this game. Only 10 kills left here for the side of Eternity EU. As much as AOK, their efforts in the start of Momentum were kind of in vain, but still, it was a nice attempt. But I think Eternity EU, they're just going to secure their slot in the Grand Finals.
Yeah, absolutely. Eternity EU, turn it up. A-OK. You can kind of see, you know what I mean? Even though they had the lead for just a second as we hopped on with them onto their comms, they were passive. They stood back, they waited, they called out where Eternity was, but they didn't make any plans, and they weren't going anywhere together. Eternity EU, on the other hand, they were the ones moving around the map. They were the ones forcing AOK to react constantly. That's what separates Eternity from all of these teams. They're making you play their game at all points in this match, and it shows. 47-25. That's a 22-point lead. Eternity just need 3 more frags. Make it 2 more frags to move on to our grand finals sneaky. These are world-class players, to say the least.
Yeah, and Eternity would have not have had it any other way, as AOK gonna try to survive for at least 1 more minute here, but I don't think it's gonna happen. No TPs here on Barrel, so he could not close the distance, but I think 2 low players, that's gonna be it. 28-50, and Eternity EU, they punch a ticket to the Grand Finals.
An insane set of performances, an insanely close scoreboard as well, 16, 17, and 18 for all the members of Eternity, showing that this team is well-rounded, they are on fire, and they work so well together as a team. With that, they'll be moving on to the Grand Finals. Eternity EU really looking like a contender to be our winners today, man. They are so good.
Yeah, and Eternity EU, I mean, congratulations to them. They've already made it to the Grand Finals, at least guaranteeing them that second place prize, which is still a pretty big one, but they do want the biggest one, of course, which is that first place. And of course, the people blocking that is going to be the other side of the bracket, which is going to be Hotheads versus Xborg, which we are going to be casting in just a bit, of course. So once again, shout out to every single sponsor that made the Extreme Championship Series possible. Shout out to Brave, Xborg, Swissborg, and of course Community Gaming. Guys, do not go anywhere. When we come back, more EV.io action coming at you. See you in a bit.
We had a dream 5 years ago, and look what happened.
Raised $52 million from 24,000 individuals from the four corners of the world. Launch the first crypto app to educate the world. Released the Xborg app, serving 700,000 community members. The CHSB token hits unicorn status with $1.4 billion market cap. Swissborg ranks top 5 DeFi players in the world. All of this thanks to you, the best community in the world.
If you want to take part in the next 5 years, hop on.
The DeFi path is not an easy one. You will face many challenges and risks. So you'll need the right tools. With Swissborg Earn, ease your path to the rewards you deserve. No effort, no worries. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy earning on your crypto. Swissborg Earn. Swissborg Earn.
We had a dream 5 years ago, and look what happened.
Raised
And there it is. Hello and welcome back to the Extreme Championship Series. My name is Frog. With me is Jim Bosco. Of course, here is the other semi-final of course, the EV.io part of the XCS. And we are now going to have Hotheads versus the Xborg's course.
Absolutely. Yeah, we had some great semifinal matches there. Of course, we just watched Eternity EU work their way up the bracket in some dominant fashion, to say the least. You know, AOK, also a great team. They, in fact, let's go take a look at the bracket. AOK themselves, they beat Eternity Power to make their way up into the semifinals. So one of the Eternity squads down, another Eternity squad appears like the head of a Hydra, man, now in the grand finals. On to the other side of the semis, though, Xborg versus the Hotheads. Xborg, we have a lot of history on, Sneaky. The Hotheads, not so much. And so for the viewers today, fill them in, Sneaky. What do we know about Xborg?
Yeah, of course, Xborg, I think for the longest time, everyone thought that they are the best team to ever grace this game. Of course, can't doubt out the original squad that really won one of the biggest tournaments in this game itself. Of course, Dizlex, Big Boy, and Xeno, the three best players to ever come out of EV.io. And yeah, they're going to go up against Hotheads, of course, not to be underestimated as well. It is Butterflex, G, Lethal, and Soar. So three of these veterans have been going at it for EV.io as well. And yeah, this could be their most daunting task the entire tournament, because Xborg, they're pretty good. That's for sure.
They're pretty damn good, man. And the Hotheads, like we said, right? This is an opportunity for this team playing in the Extreme Championship Series. A team that we don't really know too much about, going up against a team that we know a lot about. This is an opportunity to create a reputation for yourself. If the Hotheads even take a game off of Xborg, maybe they shut down Xborg and they move into the Grand Finals, the Hotheads will definitely gain a lot of notoriety as a team to watch out for in EV.io. And, you know, these players coming into EV.io, they're definitely good here, and they're taking their skills from all the FPS games that they've played in the past, right, and putting them together to compete in this new style arena shooter. So EV.io, if you want to get involved today, all you got to do, get the Brave browser, head on over to EV.io, and you can play on anything that can really connect to the internet. It's super easy.
Yeah, and hopefully you guys can figure it out, because it is a pretty fun game, that is for sure. But yeah, I mean, Hotheads and Xborg, of course, time and time again, these two have clashed in this game of EV.io. But who is going to come out on top? Can Butterflix and the boys finally get a win over the Xborg squad and get to the final? Because this is going to be like the third time that Xborg got upset in like a few weeks. I mean, they have not had the, they have not had the best consistent week, right?
Okay.
For Xborg. So I would say,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're at their weakest, but Xborg could be in very dangerous form as well right now, because they're trying not to lose, especially because we're already at the very last step.
And that's the thing, right? It's not about them being necessarily weak, maybe. Maybe the other teams are performing at peak performance as well now, too, right? So, Xborg, like you talked about, they dominated the game for quite some time, but maybe it's about time that these teams caught up. With that, though, we are heading on into the other side semifinals. We've got Xborg versus the hot boys? Or the hot ones? I don't remember what the team... the hot heads. It's like the hot boys. That doesn't sound right. But hey, man, it's June, and we are out here. Of course, 0-0 between both these two teams. In the green is up right now, 3-2. In the green, we've got the Xborg squad. In the red, we've got the other team here. Once again, I wanted to say something awful, but Butterflix, actually players that we're familiar with here, so not complete strangers, right, Sneaky?
Yeah, not complete strangers. I mean, so far it is, if I am not mistaken, it is Sur and the boys in the lead at the moment, so they're just enjoying their time, just fragging as much as possible here. And yeah, there you go. It's actually Xborg in the lead. Hotheads pretty close. I mean, Xborg, not their best map in terms of all the map pools here, especially Dragon Temple is more of an open type of thing, but Xborg, they also know how to play the fast type of style, right? They can play that type of thing. It's just that I don't think they do prefer it. But, if the times do suggest, and if the times do need it, then they're going to do it.
Absolutely, right? You got to adapt to what the game is and not just stick to one plan and try to make it work. So the key to all this competition, the key to defeating all your enemies, is adapting on the fly, and Xborg definitely doing that, doubling Hothead's score right now, 11-5 on the board for this green team. Xborg, definite favorites, and of course, Big Boy Lex and the third member of the team here, legends of the game so far, and of course, Butterflix, great shot there from afar, gonna force the team of Xborg to drop a smoke and play for some time, as Sure and the rest of the Hotheads are scoping out the rest of the map here. They're closing that gap slowly, but Xborg definitely still in the lead here.
Yep. Oh, bit of a TP exchange here, but yep, that's going to work out in towards the side of Xborg. Xborg, of course, I think they're going to kind of do something similar to Eternity, where they're just going to keep fighting as much as possible here. There's no real reason to play a lot more safe than usual, unless Hotheads does go for a 3v3 every time, but not right now.
All right, let's hop on with the teams and see what they're saying.
Weird.
What the? I was behind
I
wall.
tag Lex.
Lex.
Yeah, they're both on me. Oh, Big Boy's low.
Big went dead. Zeno
Leave the
is...
sniper, leave the snipers.
Bro, what? I'm taking damage behind walls every time. Ah,
Do we get to play you next game, please? No.
yes. And then third game
What?
again.
When I took the TP, I got like up until to the banner before I died.
It's
I
okay.
have sniper again. Crazy. And I'm singing a song and I wake up in the morning. I'll sleep now.
That means
I don't see anyone.
under the mid. Right side one.
Big boy 60. Ha! Okay. Oh, there was a mine. Gliddle is.
Oh
was
man,
it?
it's... What glitch? What did I do now? There are 3 there on teleport.
Pick them.
Pick is half on top of the wall. Big boy dead.
And there it is. And seems like Xborg kind of have hot heads figured out here in Dragon Temple. And they're just gonna finish off the rest of the squads here. Hot heads, of course, really can't figure out where Xborg's coming from at this point, considering Xborg is also now playing that kind of chaotic, kind of just constantly push type of playstyle, which is really hard to stop if you're hot heads here, other than just to rely on your minds. But with this big of a lead, I think it's kind of impossible at this point.
Yeah, a lot of the same thing. Xborg turned up the aggression to 11, not stopped pushing, and the hotheads can't do anything about it. They're losing their 1s, they're losing their 2s, and their util placement is overall worse than the Xborg team. You can tell they've been playing for a lot longer, especially together. Mine placement on point, like you mentioned, and they're just finding these frags. He's just having the time of his life right now. 46 on the board for Xborg. Hotheads down at 18. What a dominant performance.
Yep, and I think Xborg is just going to finish this one off with the last 3 kills. Dragon Temple going to be capped off here as Xborg. They take this one faster than usual, but I think their hand was a bit forced here, but at the same time, they don't mind playing this fast. But yep, we are going to go into momentum in just a bit. Of course, guys, we just have to change the servers and change the maps as well. So, yeah, hopefully hotheads, we do see more of them in momentum here, because momentum is usually that map where a bit of redemption happens at the start of the game, but the real game starts around maybe around the 2-minute mark.
Yeah, absolutely. And even there, Zeno saying, what's your excuse now? You know what I mean? So maybe a little bit of beef between these players. You love to see it. Of course, they're going to be swapping up servers and maps like you mentioned, so we're going to even out the playing field and see if the score remains consistent. Xborg definitely on top right now. Eternity EU waiting for them in the grand finals. But it is a best of 3, so the hotheads have an opportunity to take us to another map and extend their tournament life by just 1 more game. Sneaky, definitely a daunting task to say the least, but it's not impossible. Of course, we want to shout out all the sponsors for making this possible today. Brave, the browser, check them out. Of course, they've got a built-in ad blocker, a built-in VPN. It's an awesome browser optimized for anything you want to do. Pretty much. Brave, EV.io runs phenomenally on it. Shoutouts to Xborg for fielding their teams, fielding this tournament. Swissborg for, making Xborg and community gaming, for running it all back and organizing everything here today. So shoutouts to everyone involved. Sneaky, it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a very big deal, of course, especially for the EV.io space. Having tournaments in general, makes it at least a lot more fun for the players who like the more competitive side of things. If they do not like grinding it out on towards E, they just play in the tournaments. A whole lot of options here for EV.io. But yeah, as we possibly go into momentum here in map number 2, I think any stuff that I can say towards the side of Sur and the boys, I guess, make sure you have a good momentum game, because map number 2 is not going to get any easier, considering, yeah, I mean, Xborg, they're not going to let up anytime soon, that's for sure.
Not at all. And Xborg just so so good at playing that fast play style. I can't see them falling back and slowing it down for any reason. Honestly, no one can deal with it. And Eternity EU seems like they're going to be the ones that want to really take that fast play style straight to Xborg as well, right? Eternity EU, we saw them blitzing through their quarterfinals, their semifinals match in much of the same fashion that we just seen this Xborg team do. So as we head on into the semifinals, game 2, Xborg between the Hotheads. Hotheads have a mountain to climb. They have a Goliath before them. Can they perform? That's going to be the story as we head on into the second match, man. Definitely not new players on the Hotheads team. We've seen these players compete a lot before, so there's experience on that squad, but man, oh man, they are cut out. They have their work cut out for them.
Yeah. And Momentum is going to be very interesting, to say the least, because Momentum, as we did see from that last map, that's the closest AOK has ever been to even touching Eternity EU's lead, and even then, that lead was basically gone by the turn of that second half. But yeah, I mean, Hotheads, maybe this is their chance to maybe try and make something happen. But Xborg, you know, knowing them, maybe they're going to go back to their usual style, you know, just camp the power weapons, use your mines, use your util.
Right.
And just get the lead from there.
Yeah, that's a valid strategy for the map, you know, and it's something that I wish more of these teams would do. You know, a lot of them focus on the frags, which is important, and with that, we're going to be heading on into game 2 of the semifinals between Xborg and the Hotheads. But like you're saying, Sneaky, playing that macro game, right? Playing those power weapons, playing it slower, that's a very viable strategy that we're not seeing many teams use, and it would be useful to counter that super hard dive of Xborg. So with Xborg, with a game lead here in this best-of-3 series, we head on into game 2.
Not so much of a fight, really. It's more of both teams occupying, but they finally see each other here. And is this going to be a good starter here for Hotheads? Finally, nope. It is going to be Lex getting almost every single one of them there, but it's going to be Xeno with the finish. So that's a 3-1 start here for Xborg, which is already good news for them as they only lose 1.
They only lose 1 here. Beautifully done. Xborg smoking out this middle area, just keeping that long line of sight. Just completely denied. Great couple of kills here coming out from the Hotheads. Gleedle finds 2 in a row. Great shots and a great nade to follow it up. A 1-point game between these two squads. Definitely looking very different than the first game here, but Xborg did take a second to start up, and once they get rolling, that's really where you have to watch out. 3-on-3 action here, Sneaky.
Yep, and Xborg, oh, they're going to take that early lead, but I don't think Hotheads are just going to give that for free, that's for sure. Xborg, I mean, the score is basically tied at this point. Hotheads stage need one really good fight to go their way, but, you know, they're just going to contain the lead as much as possible, create kind of a turtle-ish defense here with the Xborg squad, but Hotheads is really good at breaking that apart. They're not letting them spawn and get to each other so they can rendezvous.
Red team doing a great job. Hotheads on fire here as Xborg find another quick one. Big Boy firing back here. Now Lex denied by the smoke. Hotheads making it a 1-point game yet again. We talked about these players on the Hotheads team, the Red squad, being veterans. You know, they have competed in many tournaments before. Maybe it was just a matter of time before they hit their stride. Sure, keeping it a 1-point game here. Big Boy firing back. Xborg opening up the lead. Huge here from Big Boy, finding 2 back-to-back. Taking a moment now to regroup with the rest of the squad. This is huge for the red team, but Xborg definitely still in the lead here.
Oh, but still 3-kill lead here for the side of Xborg, and they're getting away with so much here. But Hotheads is them just keeping it equal. But oh, okay, we're back. We survived it. But 16-15, not too bad. But Hotheads still, the reality is they are down 1 point, and Xborg looking for an explosive finish maybe by the end of momentum here.
Yeah, a little bit of beef between these two squads. I like it. You know, the Hotheads, maybe all it took was Xeno calling them out for them to wake up a little bit. You know, tournament life on the line.
Classic Xeno.
Yeah, honestly,
bit of, toxicity in, but that's this is classically him. Someone has to be that guy, man.
Yeah, let's hop on in with the teams and let's hear what they're saying.
Zero one shot. I need help. Dead. I need a smoke. I'm dead. Gliddle middle. No problem.
I'm
I froze
freezing.
again.
I'm
It's freezing.
Yeah, we're freezing every time we die.
Okay, I'll come back. It's fine. It's not the biggest issue.
Middle
Butterfix
castle.
low.
Low.
One shot Butterfix.
Dead.
Dead. Nice.
Low from Star.
Outcastle. One shot Gliddle. Dead Gliddle. Sir is middle. Dead Sir. I'm watching the TP. Smoking myself. Okay, let's go middle together. We need a special. He can be on TP. Be careful, Zeno behind you. Taking sniper. Coming back.
Yeah, I'll pick bridge.
Onali. Minus 75, Sir. Dead. 75 on Butter. He came back. Both. Butterfix low on castle. Be careful. You're gonna get double this way.
No.
Okay, let's reset. I'm coming overhang. Play default on overhang. Hey, let's come. Just play slow, big boy. Come with me. We should go towards Ali. If you can.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
go.
moving back angle.
Slowly and together. Taking SMG. I think they're overhang. I don't see the middle.
Yeah, what? They're alley.
Let's go banana if you can. Don't fight. Nice.
They're coming banana.
Fighting. Butterflix on me. Butterflix dead. Both full, you don't need to fight that. Fighting that is stupid. Okay, just play on safe on overhang. Pick overhang. Come, they're on overhang.
All
Pick
here.
banana, man. Run back. I'm just running back. I blew up the other mine, no way. It's okay, we'll win, just play slow. Coming. We need to go middle instantly. Let's go middle.
Yep.
Okay, let's go middle. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, bit of chaos here for the side of Xborg as they do lose the lead to Hotheads. Now it is a 3-point lead, but it seems like Flex is trying to reassure his teammates that they still do have this game in the bag. But now it is only a 1-kill lead. I mean, Xborg definitely capable of just taking the lead from them. Just like I said, this could be an explosive ending between these two teams, just trying to get as much as possible or most of the kills here. But the shotguns, they're doing it work for Butterflix, who's gonna get all 3.
That is insane. Just staying alive. That's got to be a tilter. You know what I mean? Emotional damage for sure. Hotheads in the lead just by 1 point. But it's so back and forth. And Xborg in a position we don't really see them in general, right? On the back foot, you could hear them kind of panicking. They went to banana on that call when we listened in, and they got cut off by the Hotheads. And the Hotheads came out on top, took the lead, and they still have the lead here by just 1 point. And with a minute 45 seconds left on the clock, 50 points going to be the finisher here. Hotheads maybe taking us to a map 3. Xborg, if they can recollect though, get a good wipe, they'll take back the lead and maybe take it to a 2-0 finish here. Sneaky, this is so tense.
And it is as tense could get. Xborg and Hotheads basically at neck and neck in this situation. Someone is trapped in the corner. That's going to be Surer. Oh no, this could be the turnaround that Xborg needed.
Wow.
Now it is on equal footing. 10 kills or almost 11 on both of these squads here. Now it's gonna be a chess match this last few minutes.
Just a minute, 10 seconds left on the clock. 11 kills needed for both squads. 39-39. Playing up in the sky here. Sniper shot gonna connect. And it's not gonna finish though. Big Boy finds one. Zeno finds another. Big Boy finds a third. That's gonna be a tie up from Hotheads. Sure, firing back with 2 in a row. 50 seconds left on the clock now. 41-41. Xborg playing for the grand finals placement here. Hotheads trying to take us to map 3. 45 seconds left on the clock. Close range. Butterflix gonna go down as Lex finds 2 in a row. Sure, still alive. Goes down to Big Boy and Xborg with a 2-point lead here. 35 seconds left on the clock. Sneaky.
Yep, not much time to work with here, but still Xborg with the lead. That's the reality of it. They do have a little bit of vision over the overhang here, and they do get it. 45 on them already, 46 even. They have a whole squad lead on towards their side, and Xborg, Hotheads, no one can die here. No one is allowed to.
But with 10 seconds left, 48-43, the Hotheads, they're not even going to be able to find the amount of kills here. Xborg securing their spot in the grand finals. Beautifully done. That's going to be a 2-0 in this semi. Zeno, Lex, Big Boy, and the Xborg squad pulling it out. Beautifully done after such a tight game.
Yeah, and the Hotheads, I mean, very nice attempt from them. I told you, man, it is the map number 2 resurgence that you have to worry about. That Xborg, they hang on until the very end here. And yeah, congratulations to them. It is the finals that everyone expected, and we get another Eternity EU versus Xborg matchup. I think we're gonna see a whole lot of that in EV.io very, very soon here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what a wonderful way to head into the grand finals, of course. Shout out to the Hotheads, almost taking game 2 off of Xborg, one of our reigning champions of this game. Really, shout out to them. They made it very far. So with that, Xborg moves on to the grand finals, heading on versus Eternity EU, Sneaky. So I can't wait. That action is just around the corner.
Yeah, and hopefully we do have a banger of a 5-map series. It is best of 5 since it is going to be in the grand finals. So yeah, hopefully we do see, Eternity EU once again kind of giving Xborg a hard time, and then the Xborg give them a hard time, and then who knows what happens in map number 5. But once again, shout out to Brave, Xborg, Swissborg, and Community Gaming, of course, for making the Extreme Championship Series possible. It has been Steve Frog and Jim Bosco. We will be right back with more EV.io action, of course, coming at you. We'll see you in a bit.
We had a dream 5 years ago, and look what happened.
Raised $52 million from 24,000 individuals from the 4 corners of the world. Launch the first crypto app to educate the world. Released the Swissborg app, serving 700,000 community members. The CHSB token hits unicorn status with $1.4 billion market cap. Swissborg ranks top 5 DeFi players in the world. All of this thanks to you, the best community in the world.
If you want to take part in the next 5 years, hop on.
The DeFi path is not an easy one. You will face many challenges and risks. So you'll need the right tools. With Swissborg Earn, ease your path to the rewards you deserve. No effort, no worries. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy earning on your crypto. Swissborg Earn. Swissborg Earn.
We had a dream 5 years ago, and look what happened.
Raised $52 million from 24,000 individuals from the four corners of the world. Launch the first crypto app to educate the world. Released the Xborg app, serving 700,000 community members. The CHSB token hits unicorn status with $1.4 billion market cap. Swissborg ranks top 5 DeFi players in the world.
And hello, and welcome back to the Extreme Championship Series. My name is Frog. With me is Jim Bosco, and I think we can just confirm that this is the grand finals of the EV.io part of the Extreme Championship Series, and it is what everyone expected to turn the EU and Xborg once again back at it with a grand finals banger, and it is going to be a best of 5 in between these two teams. Same map, same rotations, same everything. Just circle it right back around with a best of 5 format, and yeah, can't wait to get into it, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Best of 5 even better. As we just saw, Game 2 Xborg, definitely much closer. If that was a best of 5 set, who knows which way that would have gone, right? Hotheads maybe in Game 3 would have figured out the strategy they needed, taking us to Game 4, taking us all the way to 5 with a 2-2 score, and maybe won it out. So, with the best of 5 now in the grand finals, there's a lot on the line. Like you mentioned, Sneaky, this is part of the Extreme Championship Series brought to you by Xborg, Swissborg, Brave, and Community Gaming. Of course, we're playing EV.io, best played on the Brave browser. You can head on into the game anywhere you can access the internet. It's free to play, and it's free to start earning coin today, and you can start earning real-world money just by playing some deathmatch and dominating your opponents. How crazy is that, Sneaky?
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty crazy, and we get to monetize that type of thing, but we are going to go into the grand finals very, very soon. Of course, Dragon Temple is going to be the first map, unless the teams do decide to choose otherwise, but most likely we are going to go into that map number 1, of course. But yeah, I mean, both of these squads have really duked it out at the start of the brackets, as you can see on our screen, of course. And yeah, I mean, it's been quite a long time. I think we started in the 19th of May, all the way back for EV at least, and then we are now landing in the 9th of June, the very last week of this entire thing, the culmination of everything. Now down to 2 teams, Eternity EU and Xborg, and let's see who's gonna come home at least. I'm trying to calculate in my brain, 350 USD richer for some of these players, man.
Yeah, it's an awesome situation for these teams. Of course, like you said, competing over months. So these storylines and these rivalries have been brewing. Of course, Eternity EU and Xborg have played tons in the past. These are some of the top teams in the arena. Extreme Championship Series, EV.io. It doesn't get much better than this. A best of 5 grand finals between these two squads for the majority of that prize pool. Like you said, 350 a pop. You love to see it, man.
Yeah, and these teams are definitely going to duke it out. I mean, the very short format and the high pace of game really is going to mess with some mental here. So hopefully we do see just the best of the best from their sake here, because you know, someone being out of link or someone being out of sync in this game is really going to be cause for concern here, especially the teams at this level.
It's a death toll for sure. Of course, we just talked about how good Xborg and how good Eternity EU specifically were at moving together as a 3-man squad, right? And so if they can keep that up, we're going to see some crazy action between these two. And with that, we're heading straight on into the grand finals between Xborg and Eternity EU. It's a best of 5 situation. And in the green, we've got Xborg, and in the red, we've got Eternity EU. Good luck to both teams, Sneaky, and we're heading straight on in.
Yep, and already a stellar start from the side of Xborg. Actually, they were just waiting for the jump in here for Eternity, who really loved to go for that initial fight first, and then they go from there. But Xborg, they were kind of expecting it, already sitting on the top side of the map, and Eternity EU finally gonna get caught after that opening strat.
You love to see it. We talk about you're outthinking your opponents, playing that macro game, right? Xborg, keen to the fact that Eternity EU liked rushing in, like you mentioned, so they went high, caught him on that, and then chased him back down. Eternity EU, though, firing back. They find 4 on the board, making it a 2-point game between these two squads. Xborg taking their way up 8-5, make that 9. A beautiful shot there from Big Boy from the bottom.
And,
can they keep it up, though, right, Sneaky? That's the question.
almost a 3-kill lead for the side of Xborg still. I mean, they still have almost an entire squad up against the EU here, as they're just trying to chip it, or at least increase the lead 1 by 1 here instead of 3 by 3. So that's just going to be the Xborg way of playing this one. Eternity, I wonder whether they're going to start sticking together and usually go for their death ball strat. And we may never know, but Xborg, they're doing just a great job of just keeping the lead at 3 here.
Yeah, fantastically done. Eternity slowing it down with those smokes, though. They're trying to regroup, trying to get resettled so that they can make a bigger play. But Xborg doing a fantastic job. They don't care at all. They're just dropping into the smokes and taking those fights and getting on out of there. Xborg so dominant right now. And that confidence, man, that's what you love to see in these players. Is Lucan, talk about confident, flying mid-air, grabs Lex as Zeno fires back, finds 2 in a row. Traded out by Barrel, but Xborg with a 5-point lead here. They're looking pretty good.
Yep. Just outside of the zone at the moment here. Xborg more of in the zone if we are talking about zones here, but they turn to EU. They're gonna get jumped on here. Look at the timing once again from Xborg. It's just that the timings are way better here for Dragon Temple compared to the last time that they met on this map, and I feel like Xborg kind of watching from the distance here as it turned to EU was playing earlier and kind of spotting out what they could punish here.
Absolutely, man. They've done such a good job, Xborg, of spotting out those picks, picking them up, and not letting Eternity find any more free food. Xborg up at 24. Eternity down at 14. That's an 11-point, 12-point lead right now. Xborg definitely have found their groove, and that was a beautiful shot, yeah, with that sniper, man. They've definitely nerfed it, but if you can hit your shots, you will still be a menace with that weapon.
Yep, and especially in the right hands, just like Lex, sniper can definitely look good. And there it is, Lucan gonna be falling victim to looking too far into the scope, and Xborg all the way up to 30 while Eternity still at 14. Is this gonna be a different story though as soon as we hit momentum? Because I feel like that second map is gonna be such an important tide changer.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Momentum, especially in a best of 5. If you can interrupt their momentum from game 1 and game 2, just flip it on its head for a second, you can take the entire series back from that. So Eternity EU definitely on the back foot right now. Xborg really doubling their score, but Eternity EU, it's not all done just yet. It's an endurance game for sure. So where they can, they should try to get their picks, and as we head on into game 2, if Xborg, can keep a hold of their lead and finish it out strong here, Eternity, man, they're going to be in for a hell of a game 2, but like you're saying, it's going to be important for sure.
And yeah, game is not going to get capped off just yet. Eternity still has a chance to get back into this one. It just has to be a lot of kills in a row going their way. But Xborg, I don't think they're going to let that happen anytime soon. It's really hard to let go of a 15-kill lead, especially when you do have these special weapons, just like the shotgun here on Zeno, and he knows how to use it. Big damage from the man himself, and that's going to make the lead a lot larger than it already was, all the way up to 18 now, and Xborg almost at the brink of the limit.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that shotgun, honestly. It's so satisfying to use, and you can just decimate your opponents. But honestly, most of the power weapons are about that broken. The hand cannon, the sniper, the rocket launcher, the SMG. All super strong weapons, and you need to make it a part of your game plan, like the team of Xborg is right now, to make sure you're on those weapons as the timers come up. Control of those power weapons will dictate your victory. And of course, Xborg right now, they're just working around the map better than this other team of Eternity EU. However, they're also dominating with those power weapons, Sneaky. They're doing such a good job, and right now they're up at 44 points to Eternity's 28.
Yeah, and it's not getting any better here for Eternity anytime soon, as much as they would love to fight in this game until the very bitter end. Xborg, I think they might have just sealed it. They just need to get the last 6 kills in, as they do get some jump-ins. And I think it's going to be easy at this point, especially with how hectic the game is. Xborg looking for the jugular for that 1-0 start here in this best-of-5 series. Which is going to be a huge benefit for them, considering, yeah, if they take map number 2 here, and if they keep the, if they keep this mojo going in momentum, then this is definitely going to be a possible, either a fast final, or it could be, you know, Eternity EU ramping up in that map number 2, but still, Xborg, man, I really feel like this map number 2 is the most important in this entire series.
Absolutely. I got to agree with you there, Sneaky. If they can bring it back in map 2, that momentum will flip back on its head, and Eternity EU might just take us all the way and finish it out strong. Xborg, though, they look good. The very first part of that match went very back and forth, but then Xborg, they seem to find their groove. They take a little bit longer to get into it, but once they find their flow, they are dominant, to say the least, Sneaky. So map 2, man, a lot riding on the line now. What map are we heading into, and what are you watching out for when it comes to strategy here?
Yeah, I mean, I think for map number 2, I guess, since we've already seen the mistakes here from last game, from the side of Xborg here, I think they could not contain their side of the map. They could not stabilize as quick as Sir Butterflix and the boys compared to what they had in the last game. They had to kind of rely on that very last second fights going back in their way, but. I think it's going to be a very different time this time, considering, you know, there is a bit of experience here on the Eternity EU, especially on this map. But I really feel like Xborg, you have to be careful still, because Eternity, this is kind of their territory, this momentum map as well. They also know how to kind of move around it. But, I mean, if Xborg can set up right, then definitely they can take a 2-0 lead here.
Man, that's really the name of the game. Xborg looking to continue their momentum streak, and until now, Eternity EU, they were pretty high on momentum too. You know what I mean? They had won all their matches in pretty dominant fashion. They were coming out guns blazing, ready to rock. Eternity EU punished immediately for their, you know, fast approach to the game. Xborg went high, caught them, and kind of caught them off guard, most likely. You know, it took them a second to get a foothold yet again. So Xborg definitely setting the pace here in Game 1. Game 2 just around the corner. Sneaky, I can't wait to bring you the action. But of course, we want to shout out all the sponsors for making this possible: Brave, Xborg, Swissborg, and Community Gaming. And of course, if you're wondering how you can get involved today, EV.io plays best on the Brave browser, and you can get into some deathmatch today, get earning, and play some old school FPS action, man. A little bit of Quake, a little bit of Halo, and a little bit of something else too. So something for everybody, I think, in this game.
Yeah, I mean, something for everybody in this game, whether or not you can aim or not. But yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see. Map number 2 is it going to be momentum? Of course, I think it is in and around the corner. Teams are just figuring out how to get into the lobby itself, as we are now entering, you know, best of 5 territory. It's 1-0. 1-0 does not have I wouldn't say the same meaning, right, as the best of 3s, but now, I mean, being up already one map, and then that is Dragon Temple of all things. I think Xborg really could go into this game number 2 very confident, actually.
And with that, let's head on into it. Game number 2, just around the corner here. We're in the grand finals of the Extreme Championship Series between Xborg versus Eternity EU. Xborg 1-0 in this best of 5. Xborg in the green, Eternity in the red. Let's lock into the match as Lucan goes down. Big Boy trades him back out. Barrel finds Big Boy yet again, and Xborg with the 2-1 lead here, starting things off pretty strong.
3-1. I mean, Xborg already in the green in terms of their lead here, but oh, never mind. It's actually flipped right back around. It's actually Eternity EU who does get that early point lead. Xborg not too far behind. And there it is. I mean, it's not much of a breakaway from both of the squads here. No one really going for the weapon pickup. It's more of been the MG fights that has been the result of most of these stats more than anything. It's the only difference is one of them does have a shotgun, and it might just be Xborg, but the Eternity EU still, I mean, coming out with the very last laugh in that one.
Absolutely. Eternity EU leading by 1 here. Xborg in the smoke, in the cut. Xeno gonna go down. Lucan finds the best of Big Boy, and Lex left by himself here. As Eternity EU still lead 9-8 here. They're leading by 1 point. Getting high on the smoke. They're impulsing up above, getting shut down though. Barrel finds him and Big Boy returns. Still keeping it a 1 point game. Xborg and Eternity locked in.
Yep. And Eternity EU though, I mean, they still have the lead in this game. However, Xborg's not getting them, not letting the lead get away by too much. But I think it is going to be more of a chess match type of fight here. We are seeing in towards momentum, just like as we expected. But it is usually Xborg usually thrives in this type of activity, but Eternity really doing a great job just keeping it absolutely equal in this map so far, and even getting the lead at this point. And Xborg, I mean, kind of back in the game, but still Eternity not making it break away too far.
Back in the game for and let's hop in with the teams now and listen in on their comms. Let's see what these players are talking about.
Yeah, wait.
So sad.
Let's go right. Come right with me.
Yeah, they're gonna go there too. Just hold. Just hold for a second, maybe.
Wait, I'm gonna check mid. I don't see the mid. They
They're
could
big.
wrap up behind
They're
us.
big ramp, big ramp, big ramp.
Yeah. Let's go follow Lucan.
Come here. One big ramp. Nice,
no,
nice
that's-
battle.
no,
Nice.
Nice. I'm taking her. We can put ramp if you
Lexi
want,
low,
guys.
Lexi low. On long, 2 on long. Lexi. Okay.
I'm coming to Lucan.
Lex
One
dead.
in smoke.
Nice.
I don't have
One more
fucking
there. Low,
movement.
low, low, low. Dead. One
I'm
more.
with you.
In the smoke. Nice. I'm healing.
Go mid if you can.
Yeah, I'm going.
Mid.
Yeah,
Lex
yeah,
low.
mid. All 3 mid.
Yep.
Big boy dead.
Xeno low,
Pushing,
Xeno
he's pushing
dead.
solo. Nice. Let's get
Pushing
long.
me. Long. Dead.
Nice.
I'm healing. Come to me, I have shotgun.
Come bottom mid. Come bottom mid.
Yeah,
Come bottom mid.
yeah, let's go. Let's go with Lucan. Bottom mid,
me.
picking.
Yellow
Low.
low.
I'm pushing. I'm pushing
Lexi
the from
dead.
behind.
One more here.
One more.
Here. Big boy low. 1 HP. Nice.
Nice.
Come take the gun, maybe.
Yeah, go take
Okay,
the
one big
I'm
ramp, big
coming,
ramp,
I'm coming, yeah.
Come mid. Come mid.
Yeah, with
One
you.
long. One long.
I'm with you.
Big ramp. Two of them. We can push.
1 half.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm pushing as well. Xeno low, dead.
Gonna dead.
Lex dead.
Big boy
Dead.
1
Boy
HP.
dead.
Nice.
Nice. Let me reload shotgun. I have to reload shotgun. Okay, I'm ready. Here,
Spawn,
maybe.
spawn, like under spawn.
Yeah, they're on spawn. I'm gonna push in with shotgun. Okay. One mid. Dead mid.
Big boy 1 HP.
Dead.
Close to you. Nice.
One more. I'm healing. I'm not gonna let him kill me. I don't know where they
Xeno
are.
1 HP long, guys.
Dead.
Nice.
Lexi dead.
I'm coming to you. Big boy there as well. I'm pushing him. He's running away mid, guys. I don't know
I
where
got
he
him. I
ran.
got him. Maybe.
Nice. I'm coming to you.
Dead.
Oh,
Big ramp.
Oh, one more on me. Behind you.
50
he's
Xeno.
out.
50 Xeno.
And there it is. A bit of a glimpse on the chaos behind the scenes here. Eternity EU kind of breaking away with the lead. Xborg. So I was talking about, man, this could be whether or not you put yourselves in match point in this best of 5, or Eternity EU does get that second laugh in this map number 2. Momentum kind of shaping their way, but Eternity EU, they're not in the clear just yet. Xborg still very close behind in terms of the kills here, but I mean, could be just the easy finish for them if they just keep the pace going on their end here.
Yeah, if they can keep the pace going, it's looking pretty locked in for Eternity EU, really dominating in that mid control and just moving around the map so well as a 3-man hit squad. Of course, Lucan, Barrel, Copies, E, locked in right now for Eternity EU as Xeno, Big Boy, and the rest of the Xborg squad here. They're doing their best to fend them off, but Xborg finding a hard time here as Lucan gets on in. Barrel finds two, finds a third. That's going to be a wipe for the Eternity EU squad. Beautifully done yet again. They are on fire, and if they can keep that momentum high now, they flipped it from that first game. We're into game 2. Eternity looking like they want to take us to a game 3 here, and of course, it's a best-of-5 situation since we're in the grand finals. Barrel and Zeno going back and forth. Big Boy getting a good trade there once again, and Lex for the third. Eternity EU still lead by 11.
Yep, 5 points left here for the side of Eternity EU. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon here for Xborg unless they get 10 clean kills in a row, which is not in the realm of impossibility, right? I mean, it is possible, but knowing how good Eternity EU is, you're going to catch out 1 or 2 players right out in the open, and yeah, they're going to prepare for a jump in, but Xborg, though, welcome to try. In this situation, they do have smokes. They do have those impulse nades just in case they do need to get away in time. But the smokes are going to be the most important one, especially for recovery here. But yeah, shots from the side of Eternity EU. It's just been working out in their favor, making Lex explode mid-air. And even Copies, who's on low HP, has been just chasing this final pair left alive for the side of Xborg, using the smoke towards their advantage. Zeno gonna get the last kill back, and Eternity EU, they just ended in momentum for map number 2. They make it a mono-e-mono game, or a mono-e-mono series, 1-1.
1-1 here, just 9 kills separating these two squads. So Xborg definitely tried clawing their way back into that one, but Eternity EU found their flow around the middle of the map and started hunting down those kills after those spawns. And man, oh man, they just did not let go of Xborg. So Eternity EU finally finding their flow. Game 2 of the grand finals. We're heading on into game 3. Sneaky. What a different pace. What a different tone coming out of this Eternity EU squad, right?
Yeah, different pace entirely. Honestly, I mean, this is what I was saying, that the momentum map is very different compared to what Dragon Temple has to offer. You know, a lot more chances to make plays, but I expected it to be more skewed towards the side of Xborg, actually, but apparently not. Eternity EU put it out in momentum, and it seems like they just want to keep on going in this best-of-5. We might have another back-and-forth banger between these two teams once again, just trying to get that first-place trophy.
Insane, man. Lots on the line here. Of course, these teams have been competing for months at a time. Of course, now we are finally in the finals here in June. All the way from May, the Xborg Championship Series finally wrapping up here. Brought to you by Brave, Xborg, Swissborg, and Community Gaming. If you want to get involved, ev.io, preferably on the Brave browser, but it'll run on anything that connects to the internet, so you can get involved and start gaming and start earning to play today.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, if you are up to the challenge as well, you might see me or Jim or any of these players on the servers. Depends on what time we are awake and what time we are playing, of course. So shout out to Brave once again, Xborg, Swissborg, and Community Gaming for making the Extreme Championship Series possible in this one. So yeah, we're gonna be hopping into Fractal in just a bit. Both teams just as good in that map. So I would expect this one to be, I wouldn't say an almost equal fight, but you know, whoever does break away with that first step, I guess, you know, first momentum, maybe will get the map.
Absolutely, yeah. Map 3, you know, there is a conversation being had, right? Xborg just took that first victory. Eternity EU fires back. We're all tied up as we head on into game 3. Who's gonna set the pace? Who's gonna come out on top? And if it's a dominant victory here, man, you break their mental in game 3. That is an easy game 4. You shut it down, take the grand finals. Eternity EU, they don't want to lose to Xborg. Xborg, like you said, one of the best teams in ev.io, but recently have shown cracks in their armor. So Eternity EU finally exploiting that in game 2. Can they find it in themselves to take us to game 3, 4, and finish it out in that one? So we'll have to see, Sneaky. Lots on the line, of course, and shout outs to everybody in Twitch chat tuning in today. Let us know who your favorite team is in the Twitch chat and who you have taken it all the way today.
Yeah, and hopefully your favorite team does win through, whether or not we can see which team you are supporting at the moment, whether it is Eternity, whether it is Xborg. Hopefully both sides have, you know, their own back and forth, their own spotlight within this best of 5. And yeah, I think we're just waiting for the teams to get into this final, or not final, the Fractal game that we are going to see. I think this is going to be possibly the only Fractal game that we are going to see this entire time. So,
yeah, wow. I love Fractal. It's a classic map that we've been watching for so long, you know what I mean? I'm a big fan. So Fractal, this is a map that we played a lot on, especially towards the beginning of the EV.io broadcast season. Love it, and I think it being a classic map, maybe it even favors, you know, the Xborg squad. They've had many a championship match on this exact situation, exact scenario. So with that, we're heading on into Game 3 of the Grand Finals between Xborg and Eternity EU. Starting off with the green team, Eternity EU, Xborg in the red. We're tied up 1-1 in the series, and Xborg in the negatives off a self-frag there.
There it is. Not the best start, but it's a start either way. But turn to EU. Get the 2-0 lead, but Xborg not going to let that through. Of course, it is going to be the main camping site for that sniper and those deagles. Hopefully both sides, they do get their respective power weapons here, because that could really turn the tides of some of the fights here. But Big Boy getting 2 already, and Xborg fighting back.
Fighting back for sure. 4-4 on the board. You love to see it. These pink walls, so familiar here. So many maps played of this exact situation. 4-4. Xborg in the lead now. 6-5. Can they keep it? This is just the beginning for them. Of course, we are tied up 1-1 in our best of 5 grand finals. Everything on the line here in the Xborg Championship Series. Both teams again tied up 6-6 as Eternity fires back. There's a frag and a shot from Copies and Lex to keep it 7-7. What a close game.
Yeah, no one's really breaking away at this point. Everyone's playing very careful. Everyone's playing a bit scared, but they gotta have the frags. That's the name of the game. Gotta get them kills, but both squads really a bit hesitant to go for the jump ins. Both sides really want to be sure that the jump in that they're gonna do is a guaranteed one, and it seems like both sides really taking it extremely slow. But Eternity, they get 3 though.
They find 3 in a row. Yeah, they piece them together from across the map. Like you mentioned, man, if you jump in and you do it wrong, you're going to get punished. You're going to lose out on that fight. The jump ins are so easy to catch. You saw Xborg do it to Eternity in the first map. Now into map 3, Eternity leads the way 12-11 as Xborg across the map. There are beautiful shots by Lex. Ties it up for that Xborg squad. 12-12, 5:40 on the clock. Lex and the rest of the Xborg squad posted up back map here. They're playing this long-range game, and of course, Lex does have the rocket launcher trained on the TP as we speak. It's 13-13. Make it 14 for Eternity as Lucan finds another.
Damn. That's going to be big, especially here for Lucan, who's, I would say, has been quiet, but he is the main spark for his team's offense. And if he can get some shots with this sniper, even if it's a tag, it's going to be a big one. What a shot on towards Zeno. Annihilates in midair as well. This is what I was talking about from Lucan. He can have some impact frags as well, especially in a map like Fractal. Turn to EU, their style is perfect for this map. However, Xborg, they also have their own quirks and tricks in this one, but not going to give them the lead so far. Eternity might be the first one to 20 here.
They may be. Xborg is hot on their tail, though. Sneaky. Can they keep it up? A great shot from Zeno. Making it a 1-point game for Xborg. Eternity up at 18. Mid-air. Lucan gonna come out on top. Beautiful shots. Tracked with that machine gun. Copies around the corner. Well done. 18 on the board for Xborg. 21 for Eternity. It's a 2-point game now. 4:20 on the clock. Moving fast. Lucan and Barrel heading on towards the side of the Xborg squad, running it down the middle now. Jumping up, good shots from Copies and Big Boy. It's tied up, Sneaky. 4 minutes on the clock, 22-22.
No one really breaking away. It's going to be one of those Fractal games where it comes down to the wire in terms of the kills. It could even possibly be even a tied game, and might have to replay this match, which I don't think neither of these teams want to do. So they're gonna go a lot more aggressive, especially Eternity EU. They want to go for that kill limit, and not much teams can actually do that, especially up against Xborg here. But they're gonna attempt it anyways. Already halfway through, but Xborg's not letting them get too far.
So much pressure to deal with. Shot out of the air, teleporting gone, out of the sight. Still a 1-point game. Xborg tailing by 1 point here. 1-1, tied up in the best-of-5 series for the grand finals. Eternity EU still in the lead, just by 1 point. That jump almost punished all the way. Big boy. Oh, dunked on by Copies. Beautifully done. Impulse to finish that one off as Eternity lead by 3.
Yep, and almost to 30 as well. Eternity gonna be a big lead to keep here. That's a whole squad up against the other team. That means you could be playing a lot more risks here, going for more risky peaks, but you have to be careful. You only have 3 strikes and you're basically out, but Eternity gonna try to stretch that one a lot more, and yes, they can, but they get the more favorable trade in that entire situation, and they already have a 5-point lead. Eternity, Fractal is finally falling into their hands.
Eternity pulling away with it. Xborg, man. You gotta give it to them for putting up a fight here so far, and they're only 5 points behind. Make that 4. But Eternity keeping the lead, playing their game, not falling for these Xborg tricks. Xborg waiting with their minds set up, denying long lines of sight with the hand cannon. Eternity running around on the bottom floor, out of the line of sight like a pack of rats, closing the gap, forcing Xborg to move.
Ooh. 37-31. Yeah, this keeps on getting closer here. Eternity EU looking for that finish. They don't want this to be a tight game. This has to be decided by who has the most kills, but still, neither team hesitant, because shots like that can happen. Zeno with his own mid-air shot on that sniper. 1 minute and 30 left on the clock. Not much time, but the power weapons are really shredding through most of these teams.
Jesus, let's see how they keep it up here. Copies. Close range shotgun comes out on top. Eternity still leading by 6 points here. 41 to 35 of Xborg. Eternity looking to lock down Fractal for a 2-1 lead here. Maybe send us into map 4 and take us all the way. As Xborg, though, they find a couple kills in a row, find some more, and they're only tailing by 3 now. As Eternity, they find 1 finally. Xborg have closed this gap to just 3 fragments, and then under a minute remaining, it could go either way, Sneaky.
Yep. Could go either way. Minute left on the clock, but Eternity, they do have the upper hand in terms of the kills here, so it has to be Xborg first to ones to act in this one, but that might not be the most comfortable spot for them, especially they're the ones in the back foot. And Eternity, they might have just taken Fractal here if they can keep the lead back in towards their end, and if they can get away from the sidelines of Xborg, they're going to be A-okay. 25 seconds left on the clock, not much time.
A beautiful match for Eternity EU, 46 to 41. Now they're playing a bit of keep away as the time ticks down. 15 seconds left on the clock. Eternity find number 47. And with 3 frags remaining, Eternity look like they are confident. After that Game 2 victory, Sneaky, like we talked about, they found the momentum, found the confidence within themselves, and have taken Game 3 as well. And with that, we are heading on into Game 4 with Eternity leading 2-1 over Xborg. Xborg on the back foot on their championship game. If Eternity win this next one, they take it all. They take the XCS, and Xborg will be going down.
Yep, and that's it for the only Fractal that we're gonna have today. Of course, we're gonna be going back to Dragon Temple for map number 4 of this best of 5, of course, and we are gonna go into Momentum right after that, of course, for the possible decider that we are gonna have incoming. Eternity, though, what a showing in map number 3. Fractal is that exact map where you need to play their style, which is that, you know, hyper-aggressive type of thing. And at the same time, they weren't too hyper-aggressive where they were basically throwing away their lead. They were just like, okay, right. We have to... Oh, we have the lead? All right, it's time to jump in, guys. Oh, we're starting to slowly lose the lead. All right, let's tone back a bit.
Yeah, they did a really good job of modulating their play style, and if they can keep it up, keep adapting to what Xborg is trying to do, Eternity EU will come out on top. Currently in the lead in our best of 5 grand finals, 2-1 over Xborg in the Xborg Championship Series. We want to shout out EV.io, Brave, Xborg, Swissborg, and Community Gaming for putting on this production. With all that said, Sneaky, I believe we've got a lot more action just around the corner.
Yeah, and we are just ready and waiting, of course, for the teams to get into the proverbial server going into this one, and then we are gonna jump straight into another Dragon Temple banger for our match number 4, Eternity on the verge. They're there, man. It's in their hands, and
it's in their hands.
They deny Xborg in their own tournament.
Yeah, man, that's really the thing, though. Like you mentioned, right? Xborg have been so dominant for so long. They probably have the most VODs from tournament out there, right? So if you're studying a team and if you're trying to figure out how they play, you have the Rolodex on Xborg. So Eternity, maybe they put some real time in on VOD reviewing, you know what I mean? And have figured out that, hey, this is how they play. This is what we need to do as a team. And they're keeping calm, cool, and collected, as we saw when we hopped on with their comms, right? So you love to see it from Eternity EU, currently leading 2-1. Xborg, though, still possible for them to take it 2-2 and take us to a game 5. Possibilities are endless. The action is non-stop. The pace has been bristling. EV.io is great in the spot it is right now. Of course, I think the weapons and stuff that have received their nerfs definitely warranted recently. Sniper, I think, is in a much healthier spot overall, and it feels good to be playing the game right now, Sneaky.
Yeah, feels really good to be playing the game right now, especially with the earn rate. And yeah, hopefully everyone is enjoying their time. Shout out to Brave once again for that earnings boost. It seems like everyone's enjoying shooting each other for that extra coin, especially the boys who are more of the grinders here for EV, who go at it every day and have to drop 30 frags to get that and farm that coin. Shout out to the grinders, man, the real ones who are keeping the clan together in EV, because you know damn well how lazy me and the other comp players get when it comes to just grinding out the leaderboard. So shout out to them once again. But yeah, we are going to go into, I was going to say momentum, but Dragon Temple in just a bit. Of course, we're just waiting for the teams to be complete for both sides of the server, and we are going to go straight underway.
Absolutely. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate every single viewer, and of course, showing support for the Web3 scene. Excuse me, always a big deal, especially in the FPS. I love this resurgence of like arena FPS that have been coming out recently, especially in Web3. So shout outs to everybody that's been trying to get involved. If you ever liked Halo, Overwatch, CS, it's got elements of all those sorts of games. And if you can control your aim and you're confident in it, you could really make some money playing these tournaments and competing across these titles. Definitely something to pay attention to as the scene continues to flower and blossom. So I believe the Xborg team themselves are playing from the Web3 Expo in California that is happening this week, of course. Shout outs to them. Yeah, and I think,
like, why is everyone playing NA all of a sudden? And I was like, yeah, there's an Expo. Yo, shout out to my boy Yellow Panther. I saw him last week, I think. Or not last week. I saw him in Conquest, and we had a really fun time with community gaming. So once again, shout out to my boy YP, who's currently enjoying in California at the moment. Wish I was there, but you know, caster schedule does not allow me to travel, especially at this very moment.
Yeah, lots of stuff popping up for FPS. Of course, you got to keep in tune to the social medias and stuff like that to make sure you're keeping a tab on all the latest and greatest Web3 games. But Extreme Championship Series, man, happening for a couple months now. If you're looking to get involved, EV.io, Community Gaming, those are going to be the places you want to head to. And of course, the browser you want to use is the Brave browser. EV.io definitely plays best on Brave. So go make it happen, man. It's free to play, plays on anything that connects to the internet, and it's really simple to get into, hard to master for sure, as we're seeing on display today in the grand finals for sure, Sneaky.
Yeah, and it's going to be a very interesting one to say the least, as we go into map number 4, Dragon Temple. It could be the decider, could be not. I really wish we could go into map number 5 to at least make it the momentum map number 5, but you know what happened last time in momentum, and it was pretty convincing in towards the side of Eternity here. But then Xborg, you know, they did something, and then Eternity did something, and then it's just like a back and forth. It's just a really messed up back and forth in momentum, and that's why I want to see more of that map, because it's really just something that you can't just predict.
And like you said, man, it's something you can't predict, and something we couldn't predict is Eternity taking the lead here 2-1 in our best of 5 grand finals. Our tournament game here, Eternity. If they win this one, they've won the whole thing. Xborg, if they win this, they take us to a game 5, and they take us all the way, Sneaky. As we head on into the action here, Eternity starting off so fast in a rematch of the first map that we played between these two teams, taking the lead, but Xborg slowly crawling their way back. It's a 1-point difference.
Yeah, and it's gonna be that opening, those opening fights that are gonna result or try to at least set the pace of what the rest of the game is gonna look like here. Xborg, of course, their usual high ground, and then the snipers try to get those power weapons as much as possible. Trying to get the snipe. Oh, big snipe on towards copies. And Lex, he's gonna be the high value target here. He has the sniper rifle, but he's gonna try to get away from Lucan here.
Okay, doing their best, though, flying mid-air. Xeno trying to just get a vision of what's happening now, getting in on the fight. Xborg 11-7 here. They've got a lead. Eternity EU, even in the first map that they played between these two squads, Xborg took them all the way. They had the victory here, so maybe Xborg tapping back into that to maybe ensure us a grand final set 5 here as they open up the lead a couple more points. 5 separating these two squads. Xborg finding a ton there. Great stuff from Lex with the mine and the hand cannon.
Yep, at 15-11 though, not that far of a lead for the side of Eternity to reduce. So Xborg, they're making sure that at least as soon as they get the lead beyond 3 here, they're gonna try to fight to make it a lot larger, but that could be the cause for concern here for the side of Xborg as Eternity EU. They're kind of catching some of these members flying in, but still keeping the lead 3. Xborg doing a good job just keeping Eternity EU at a distance here.
Beautifully done. Close quarter fight. Xeno comes out on top with the help of Big Boy there from behind. Barrel from a distance, trying to do damage. Still only 5 points separating these two squads as Eternity makes it number 4 from below. 5 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. Barrel, health regenning, goes for the fight. Beautifully done. Gets Big Boy. 3 points separating the two. Barrel from behind, gonna go down. Xeno shuts him down as Lex on the high ground with the sniper. He is the eye in the sky, Sneaky.
Yeah, and without him, Xborg would definitely have a hard time still trying to at least get an equal score here with Eternity. But Eternity so far, I mean, they're doing such a great job of just being almost equal with Xborg so far. But Xborg, that 3-point lead from that initial fight after that high ground acquisition here from the side of Lex made it really easy for Xborg to just start moving around the map. Especially they have the lead, they have that bit of leeway, so they're going to try and see if they can at least make that lead bigger. But no, it's just staying 3 this entire time.
So close for Eternity, they can almost feel it. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. Lucan and the rest of the squad, you can hear them communicating. You can almost feel it right as they dive towards the left side. They're calming where the enemy is, picking up the sniper. Gonna be missing that. Copies, wasting precious time here. Dropping some nades. Good shot, not gonna finish it off. Xeno able to get just out of the line of sight there as Big Boy and Xeno combine for a ton more kills there. Xborg up at 28. Eternity down at 21. All right, let's listen on in, Sneaky, with the teams and see what's going on.
Nice, good job. Just run
I'm
back.
getting out.
Just
Out. They killed me. Barrel's underneath mid.
He's fighting. We're on top of him. We're very close to him. We need to instantly, you know. Nice. Nobody at bottom anymore. Going up. They're going up.
Lucan dead.
Nice. Trying to go behind barrel. I'm near the smoke. Dead.
Nice job.
Just plants the smokes, then let's go main. At the top of main.
Yep.
Just go at the top of main now. Just go at the top. Just chill a bit at the top. It's very good.
I have a deagle.
Nice. Use it.
Barrel no left. Right. No tag.
Fighting. Close.
I'm dead.
Look, I'm dead. I kill myself. It's fine.
Good, boys.
Look for was one shot.
TP, they're playing shot. Just don't let them
Yeah, just go at the top. Just play at the top, everyone.
I'm top. They're lit left main.
Keep playing. They will
They're
wait.
going
They're
right side, going right side, going right side.
Do you wanna run? We can run away from them.
Luke in half, Luke in dead.
Look at the barrel low as well. I'm one
Pushing.
shot. I'm one shot. Don't push me.
Copy 0.
Nice.
Easy kill, easy kill. Barrels, help. Watch out,
Yeah,
Luke in
also,
0.
he's dead, he's dead
Luke
for
in 0.
sure.
Go to the TP.
He's dead. I'm going TP.
I'm with you, I'm with you, I'm with
He's
you.
gonna push the TP.
Yep.
I'm hiding.
Smoke up. Right side.
I'm full. Be careful. Right side a lot.
There it is. A glimpse of the Xborg comms here. And, yeah. I mean, doing such a great job. 35 and 29 at the moment. 15 points left till the kill limit for the side of Xborg. But to turn to EU, not that far behind. Only 6 kills, actually. I mean, it is looking a lot bigger considering it is... we're in the 30s in terms of the kill feed. But, you know, it's not that far. To turn to EU, they just need 2 good breaks.
That's really it. 2 good breaks, 2 good wipes. They could make it happen, and just like that, Eternity bring it down to a 4-kill difference, right? We were just talking about it. It's very possible. Minute 40 seconds still left on the clock. 4 kills separating these 2 teams. Eternity, if they get those kills and they take the lead, they win this entire thing. They've got to fire it up right now, Sneaky.
Yep, and I think they might have heard you, as they did get those 2 kills, but man, Xborg, they're just like, they always get 1, at least.
They're trading it out all the time, and Xborg taking it back up. We're back at 4 now. Got so close, yet so far as Xborg at 40 kills. Make it 41. They seem to have found a second wind here.
Yep, Nukin trying to go a bit crazy here, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Xborg really just too good at holding their lead. No resets really here for the side of Eternity EU. I mean, every time that they're going to try to set up a play here, one of their teammates is already dead thanks to Xeno or Lex here, so going to have to think of a plan here quick before the map goes away in their hands.
Just 4 frags separating Eternity and Xborg here. 33 seconds remaining. It could go either way. Eternity, though, they've got to start firing back and stop letting themselves get traded. That's 3 in a row. Sneaky. Uh-oh. 20 seconds left on the clock. Eternity, they are turning it up. 1 kill separating these 2 squads. Can they find it? Xborg, bring it back to 2. They've taken a kill here. Eternity firing back. 10 seconds left on the clock. Xborg fire back. 44 to 42. They've got 2 in a row. Eternity, 43. Xborg, 45. 44. Okay, Eternity, if they can find that 1, it's 46 to 44 Xborg. Just in the nick of time. They tie it all up 2 to 2. We're heading to game 5, Sneaky.
Yeah, Xborg, I knew that they were not going to let this series go anytime soon. And now we are going to see map number 5 momentum going to be set up into this one. And it is going to be an interesting matchup between these 2 teams. This is basically a best of 5 for 1,000 USD. So it's going to be a very interesting one. Who is going to be getting that very last place? It is a map 5 banger, as we do kind of expected it last time. Eternity and Xborg did fight. I think it was also a map 5 banger, so kind of expected, but I don't think these teams, you know, they're going to not let each other win anytime soon, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're not going to disappoint. Xborg just pulling away, fighting tooth and nail for their tournament life in that one. Now we're heading into Game 5. 50 frags, like you said, separating these 2 teams from their share of that prize pool, that $1,000, man. Xborg Championship Series, they'd be your first victors ever, so lots on the line here, and title of the best EV.io team around. So Game 5, like you said, we'll be heading to a momentum.
Yeah.
And, man, it's going to be good. If it's going to be anything like those last 4 games, it's going to be a nail-biter, Sneaky. I couldn't tell you who I'm expecting to win this one. Both teams are on fire currently.
Yeah, I mean, both teams playing super, super well in today's game. No one's really being the outlier for any of these teams here. So, yeah, I would expect this map 5 to be, you know, the real test on who's going to play scared at this point of the game, because as a person who's been in a similar place like this, right? When you're like down and someone has to make a play, even if it's tie point, so you're in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, I have to make a play that can either tie the game or loses the game. But sometimes you have to be the one to do it. But yeah, I mean, that mindset can make or break some of these teams, right? It's really just up to execution whether or not you can even pull the trigger in the first place.
Absolutely, man. Execution, and we talk about endurance, right? They've played 4 games in a row already in the grand finals alone. That's not even counting the semis, the quarters, and everything else that happened, right? So you've been executing at the highest level perfectly for 4 games in a row. Game 5, man, things start to slip up after a while. Endurance is going to be tested here. Both teams tied on up 2-2 as we head into Game 5. Yeah. This is going to be scary.
I'm more worried about if ever Xborg does lose, right? I'm more worried about the team that they're going to go up against in the show match in 3xPM. Like, come on, guys. Like, I would not want to be that team going up against them post-loss, because I think they're going to be trying to get some frustration out if ever they do so. But is that going to be the case? We do not know just yet. To turn to EU still trying to ramp up in this map number 3 in the final game of Momentum. Of course, last time we went here, Eternity did get that very convincing win. Can they do it again? Can they consistently get this map?
That's the question indeed, Sneaky. Can they do it again? Can they repeat their performance? 2-2, we're tied up in the grand finals of the Extreme Championship Series, and it looks like we're ready to hop into Game 5 between Eternity, EU, and Xborg. Of course, Eternity in the red, up at 2. Xborg in the green, up at 2 as well. And we are headed on into map number 5.
Yep, and at the start, no one really overextending, whether it is Xborg or Eternity. They're just like, alright, let's just get the power weapons. First HP bar we see. Possibly jump that guy or maybe just run away.
What a different pace, though. Both teams slowing it way down. Smoke's going down and them methodically clearing out the map. Big Boy going to be the first one to get a frag here as Xeno returns and Lex gets a 3rd in a row. Looks like we may have a quick reset here as both teams get ready to rock. We want to make sure they're on an even playing field, so we'll get that sorted for these players.
Yep. This is the last game, man. It is the decider. Got to make sure everyone is connected. Everyone is A-OK with the server. So, yeah, we're just going to be doing a quick restart and, just get the players in a really good spot before we do go into the final map of the Extreme Championship Series here for EV.io. So, yep, don't want to be having any hiccups here for that very last map, especially at this Momentum. It's going to be a lot of shaking, a lot of nervousness, a lot of sweating for this map number 3, but hopefully the teams do sort it out.
Absolutely, man. Tension so high, nerve so high. Of course, it's hard to execute at the highest level when you've got so many emotions running through you and so much stress, really, because there's so much on the line here. So as we get these situations sorted out for the players, I can't help but imagine what they've got to be feeling and how sweaty their rooms must be right now. You know what I mean? These of course, playing at the Web3 Expo themselves, Xborg, in North America right now, Eternity EU across the pond. Definitely a great competition between them so far. 2-2, tied up in the grand finals.
So you could technically say it is an NA versus EU matchup, even though
a little bit, yeah.
It's like one NA dude on Xborg.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like supporting your boy Twists on FaZe. Shout out to that man, the only NA player. It's like saying FaZe is an NA team. Shout out to their CS:GO team, by the way. But it's like saying he's he's NA, man. He counts. It's where it's
Twist.
at.
Man,
he's
I
Canadian,
remember when he was a young prodigy. Yeah, barely.
Yeah, barely.
It's an A.
It's an A. Yeah. So it counts.
That's
No logic needed here. What is that? But yep. Map number 5 is gonna be underway. Of course, we only remade it because I think Copies was having a little bit of a lag issue here, and especially him of all people. You don't want him lagging. So yeah, we're just gonna go straight into it in just a bit. Of course, I think the lobbies are already made. The teams are already there. We just have to press start.
Absolutely waiting to get back into the match between these two. 2-2, tied on up. It is all on the line here. The Xborg Championship Series brought to you, of course, by Xborg and Swissborg, Brave, and Community Gaming as well. If you want to hop in on the EV.io action, you can log into EV.io today and start earning to play some deathmatch. And really, assert your dominance, man. Show your skills. This has got great hit scan weapons, great projectile weapons. It's got a variety of weapons in an arena FPS environment. Hop into EV.io. It's free to play. It's easy to pick up, hard to master, and you can play it on anything that connects to the internet. So make it happen today, man. You can start earning and start competing in these tournaments like these players were commentating today.
Yeah, and hopefully do see something happening for these two squads, especially in this very last map. At least get that final fist fight in for this one. So yeah, I think both teams are ready and roaring for map number 5 of this best of 5, and finally we go into momentum. Both teams finally working.
All right, we are heading into map 5 between Eternity EU in the red, Xborg in the green, Eternity in the negatives here, as Xborg start off strong and get them on a self-kill there. So Xborg starting off with a bit of a lead, but it's not by much. Xborg, though, in the last game, they managed to keep this 4-point lead pretty much until the very end, Sneaky.
I like that what used to be when you do kill yourself in the game, it doesn't do anything. I like that it's a -1 now, because it used to be such a fest when you know that wasn't a -1. Everyone's like, "Oops, I was just resetting, hee." But now, no.
Not this time around.
Not this time around. You're a forgeable sum. He put the hammer down. He's like, no longer are you naughty kids gonna have this option. But 64 though. Xborg. Damn. So many names flying. So many mines flying. Nowhere is safe.
Dan was right, man. Now it's a 1-point game suddenly. Make it a 2-point game as Xborg finally fire back. But Eternity, they just ticked up so many kills in the blink of an eye, Sneaky.
Yeah, just 1 point difference between the two teams. I think it's going to be more of a chess match now more than anything.
Okay, keeping the action up here. 9-9 between Xborg and Eternity EU. All tied up. Nade going out, smoke obscuring the vision. 10-10, it is still tied up. 6 minutes on the clock between these two teams. Big boy, close range, gonna go down. Xeno, good for 2, putting Xborg back in the lead. Green team, now Lucan, Eternity, impulsing across the map, meeting with the rest of the squad here. Beautiful. But the green team is on the aggression, following that impulse across the map. They get 2 in a row, making that 3, Xborg up to 15.
And Xborg with almost a whole squad lead here is just going to keep to their side of the map, trying to get some pot shots in, but not going to overextend. Lex, though, pretty big from him. Pretty big kills, actually, from his sake here.
17-13, Xborg keeping the action high. Beautiful turnaround shot from Big Boy. He gets copies, gets barrel, and is ready for more as his health regens. The rest of the Xborg squad, they are hunting the horizon right now, keeping their eyes peeled. They are ready to rock. 6 points separating these two squads. Eternity, shotgun in hand, dropping close. Go for the shot down at the Xeno. He connects. Beautifully done as barrel finds another Lex and copies fire back for 2 more of their very own. Xborg up at 20, Eternity down at 16.
Yeah, I mean, Eternity 4 points down at the moment. Xborg, they're just going to keep their streak continuing here, as not really disturbed by Eternity so far. They're just keeping their lead, kind of similar to what they did in that last game, where they're just keeping their lead on their side of the map here.
Endurance, man, really showing here for Xborg. They find, what is this? 6-point lead now, 26-18 here, making an 8-point lead. They are just doing such a good job of dominating in this mid game. They get in their flow and they're unstoppable as Xeno, Big Boy, and Lex, they post up on different sides of the map now, getting the power weapon, shutting it down onto Barrel. Good shots from Barrel. He gets the best of Xeno, and it's still a 6-point difference.
Old man Big Boy having himself a hell of a game in this one, getting so much of the kills here for the side of Xborg. You usually like to take a look at Xeno and Lex here, but let's not forget the man, the myth, the legend, Big Boy, of course, should not be left out of the story. 20 kills left for the side of Xborg till they get that big trophy, that big check. But Eternity EU still fighting tooth and nail to try and get back into this game.
Can they make it happen? Let's see. Around the left side now. Spotting out Lukin. Good shots from Lex. Xeno with the finish. He's good for one. Big Boy finds another and finds two in a row. It's a sweep there for Xborg as they lead by 11 points. Good stuff now from Copies, man. They're doing such a good job, Xborg, shutting out Eternity of this match. If there's anything that really makes an impact, you know, emotionally, this is that scoreline that would, right, Sneaky?
That's kind of like the indicator of how the game is going overall for your squad, but Eternity kind of trying to disprove that. 33 and 27 is not that big of a gap if you do go down to the nitty-gritty numbers, but yeah, I mean, Xborg, once again, I mean, those small leads, they're doing such a great job of just keeping it their way here.
Eternity, though, with a lot of momentum. We were just talking about an 11-point lead. Cut down now immediately to 5. Eternity finding 6 in a row. Can they keep it up? Xborg just leading by 5. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock. Xborg Championship title winner on the line here. Eternity.
Ooh, Eternity.
Find one. They're traded out by Xborg. It's still neck and neck and 2 minutes remain.
Yeah, they're kind of fighting back in this one. 36 and 31. 5 kills left. 1 clean sweep and a 2K, and they get away. And that's what they're hoping for at this point. Ooh, it's the shotguns instead. Oh. Big kills coming in here from Lukin. Is this the clutch that they need?
Is it the clutch they need? Eternity closing the gap to 2 points. Xborg still in the lead, but with a minute 35 left on the clock. Lukin hunting with this shotgun. So devastating in close range, getting close to the Xborg team, who spotted him out on the right side, and they're going to get distance, but he impulses in, and he gets shut down midair. Beautiful tracking by Lex. Xborg at 37, make it 38 as Eternity find 35 and 36. It's still a 2-point game. Any way it can go.
Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden, it is quite the tie game. Both of these squads, mono-e-mono situation once again. Xborg, oh, man. Big beam.
Wow.
Big Boy once again. It's him being so clutch in this very last game.
Yeah, beautifully done. Finds Barrel in the middle of nowhere, tracks him to oblivion, and now with the TP across the map to the middle of the bridge, 40 to 37, Xborg. Find 41, Eternity to respond with 38. 42 to 39. They are just trading back and forth at every situation. Now the impulses come out into the middle of the smokes. The fights are going to get close. They're going to get personal here. 43 to 39, 44 to 39, wow, 45 to 39 for Xborg. Jesus! Big Boy going on fire.
What is Big Boy on? You can call him Finals MVP in this one, especially in this very last game. Xborg, 3 kills left from getting that big 1,000 USD check and being a lot more richer right after this game. And it is going to be, I think, Xborg. That might be it. Xborg, they have done it. Another trophy in the already huge trophy case that they already have. They are your Extreme Series Championship champions. And oh my god, XCS, man. It's been quite the journey. But all these months of the Extreme Championship Series finally comes to a close as Xborg. They take the crown.
Yeah, it's all led to this moment, man. Of course, a close grand finals heading all the way to Game 5, and a nail-biter at that. Only a couple points separating these two squads, but in the end, Big Boy and the rest of the Xborg squad, they pulled through in a big way, shutting it down for Eternity EU and taking the victory here. Winners of your Extreme Championship Series for EV.io, man. Shoutouts to them. Shoutouts to Brave, Xborg, Swissborg, and Community Gaming for putting it all on as well, Sneaky.
Yeah, and yeah, shout out to the audience. Everyone showed out for today's games as well over at the Twitch Xborg page, and I think they're on YouTube as well. MVP of the match, of course, or MVP of the series. I think it is Xeno, but I think MVP of that very Game 5 match, I think it's Big Boy. I think you have to
Absolutely.
give it to him. Like Game 5 MVP, it is him. But Zeno, I think he played overall really good in the entire series. But yeah, it's that Game 5. You can't really forget about that Game 5 big boy performance.
Yeah, unforgettable. Of course, what a matchup between these two squads. Definitely the best EVIO action I've ever watched. Both teams fast-paced and going nonstop at each other all the way for 5 games straight. So beautifully done. And congrats to Xborg, man. They take it all in the Extreme Championship Series. So really setting history there, this Xborg team. Even though they showed cracks in their armor, they can go down, but not this time around, Sneaky. So shout-outs to everyone involved.
Yeah, I mean, you know the level that they can play at this point. So and let's see if they can keep it consistent in the next few EV.io tournaments. But I think that is it for me and Jim Bosco. Of course, make sure to check out our socials. It's Facebook, Twitter, and Kick now. Not on this platform. Sneak Frog casts on that one. Jim Bosco, I have no idea what yours is, but feel free to
Jim Bosco
drop
everywhere, baby. You know it.
There it is, Jim Bosco. Every single platform you can think of, you can find them there. Shout out to Brave Xborg, Swissborg Community Gaming once again. And that is it for us two. We'll see you in the next EV.io tournament. Peace.
Peace.
Hell of a last game, 26-7. And mostly it's him leading the aggression for his team.
Yeah, just absolutely on fire. And you can see the positioning of Eternity EU, right? They've got their team moving as a unit, picking up the power-ups, impulsing together, taking control of this left side. Even though the smoke nade gets deployed, Lucan's able to pick one up. Morphan, though, returns with one of their own as Oprah finds 2 in a row. Lucan returns, Oprah find a third, and in the middle of it all, Lucan, losing his footing on the high ground, drops down.
Long again.
Yeah, one behind. Oh, behind us. Nice.
Maybe one more is coming.
I'm pushing mid. Small ramp now.
Yeah. Nice.
Almost
One more. Small the ramp.
Connect
Nice.
slow, bro. I don't know where he is.
One more.
He's long. Big ramp.
I don't know. He's somewhere on me, I think.
Oh, two on
Where?
big ramp. 2 on big ramp.
Okay, I'm
very low.
pushing. Dead.
Free right now.
Nice.
Okay, they're posted up, throwing a lot of nades, but Eternity running into them at all, keeping their distance. They're able to find the shots. Copies beautifully done. Impulses straight up, gets a bird's eye view of the situation, and lasers him down from across the map. That's what you like to see, man. And that's why I like this gun so much, honestly. You know, the laser rifle is good. It's a solid weapon, does a lot of chunking damage, but the ability to track at range, that is unfortunate. Falls straight off the map. Copies, you go so high and then fall so far.
Yep.
It's exactly like Lucan's having a great time back here. You know, now impulsing, double jumping mid-air, closes the gap, gets on top of the smoke, nails him across the back there as Frenzy hops off the side of the map. You know, rather die to Lucan or hop off the side of the map, and he made a clear choice there as Copies and Lucan combined for 2 more. Eternity at 30 as AOK struggle to get even 10.
Yeah, I mean, this is
really
nice. Just, yeah, at this point, I think domination can just continue.
Storm big ramp.
Yeah,
One
one
close,
small.
one close. Might be banana.
Just smoking and...
I want to peek bridge a second.
Close to me, close to me. Oh, I... Fucking... Can't believe
No, it's,
One dead
we
with
got
mine.
one.
Shock up
now
close.
Yeah,
Going
jump.
to telly.
Looking on you. All 3 on you.
Full damage, yeah, all 3. Copy.
Get out, get out.
Yeah, you tell you got out. Nice, he's chasing you? No, he's not. Never mind.
He's using? Okay.
No. He backed off.
Barrel mid, barrel mid. 2 mid.
Bro.
Lucan as well.
Yeah, going towards you, Nate.
Yep, on me. Shotgun and banana.
One dead.
One more.
All
2
here,
more,
all
2
here.
Holy shit, I'm not gonna be able to get out. I got one.
Barrel's still in banana, he's in smoke.
Lucan's in mid as well. I just saw him coming to you.
Look at
guys.
mid, look at mid.
Oh, fucking hell, barrel.
Diving you.
Yeah, all 3.
Looking low.
Copies is low.
Thanks. Yeah, they're both on me. No, big was low.
Like with that.
Leave the sniper, leave the snipers.
Bro, what? I'm taking damage behind walls every time. Ah.
Do we get to play you next game, please? No.
Yes. I'm third game.
When I took the TP, I got like up until to the banner before I died.
It's okay.
I have sniper again. Crazy. And I'm singing a song and I wake up in the morning. I'm asleep now. I don't see anyone.
Under the mid.
Right side one.
Big boy 60.
The Xborg way of playing this one, Eternity. I wonder whether they're gonna start sticking together and usually go for their death ball strat. And we may never know, but Xborg, they're doing just a great job of just keeping the lead at 3 here.
Yeah, fantastically done. Eternity slowing it down with those smokes, though. They're trying to regroup, trying to get resettled so that they can make a bigger play. But Xborg doing a fantastic job. They don't care at all. They're just dropping into the smokes and taking those fights and getting on out of there. Xborg so dominant right now. And that confidence, man. That's Lex as Zeno fires back, finds 2 in a row. Traded out by Barrel, but Xborg with a 5-point lead here. They're looking pretty good.
Yep. Just outside of the zone at the moment here. Xborg, more of in the zone if we are talking about zones here, but they turn to EU. They're going to get jumped on here. Look at the timing once again from Xborg. It's just that the timings are way better here for Dragon Temple compared to the last time that they met on this map, and I feel like Xborg kind of watching from the distance here as it turned to EU was playing earlier. And
Yep.
Big boy dead.
Then
He's pushing solo. Nice. Let's get
pushing
long.
me. Long. Dead.
Nice.
I'm healing. Come to me, I have shotgun.
Come bottom mid, come bottom mid,
Yeah,
come bottom mid.
yeah, let's go with looking. Bottom mid picking. Low. I'm pushing the from behind.
One more here.
One more.
Here. Big boy low. 1 HP.
Nice.
Come take the gun, maybe.
Yeah, go take
Okay,
the
one big round.
Yeah.
Come mid.
Yeah, with
One
you.
long, one long.
I'm with you.
Big ramp. Two of them, we can push.
One half.
Let's go. I'm pushing as well. Xeno low, dead.
Gonna dead.
Lex dead.
Big boy
Dead.
1
Dead.
Nice.
Nice. Let me reload shotgun. I have to reload shotgun. Okay, I'm ready. Here, maybe.
Spawn, like under spawn.
Yeah, they're on spawn. I'm gonna push in with shotgun. Okay. One mid. Dead mid.
Big boy 1 HP.
Dead.
Close to you. Nice.
Nice. Good job. Just run
I'm getting out. They killed me. Barrel's underneath mid.
He's hiding. We're on top of him. We're very close to him. We need to instantly, you know. Nice. Nobody at bottom anymore. Going up. They're going up.
Lucan dead.
Nice. Trying to go behind barrel. I'm near the smoke. Dead.
Let's jump.
Just plants the smokes, then let's go main. At the top of main.
Yep.
Just go at the top of main now. Just go at the top. Just chill a bit at the top. It's very good.
I have a deagle.
Nice. Use it.
Barrel no left. Right. No tag.
Fighting. Close.
I'm dead.
Look, I'm dead. I kill myself. It's fine.
Go. Worth.
Look at my one shot.
TP, they're playing shot. Just don't let them push.
Yeah, just go at the top. Just play at the top, everyone.
I'm top.
They're lit left main.
Keep playing. They will wait.
Going
They're
right side,
still
going right
here.
side.
Do you wanna run? We can run away from them.
Lucan half. Lucan dead.
Look at the barrel low as well. I'm one shot. Don't push me.
Copy 0.
Nice.
Easy kill. Barrel's help. Watch out,
Yeah,
Lucan
also,
0.
he's dead,
Lucan
for
0.
sure.
Go through the TP.
He's dead. I'm going TP.
I'm with you.
He's gonna push the TP.
Yep.
I'm hiding.
Smoke up.
Right side.
I'm full. Be careful. Right side a lot.
Every time that they're gonna try to set up a play here, one of their teammates is already dead thanks to Zeno or Lex here. So gonna have to think of a plan here quick before the map goes away in their hands.
Just 4 frags separating Eternity and Xborg here. 33 seconds remaining. It could go either way. Eternity, though, they've got to start firing back and stop letting themselves get traded. That's 3 in a row. Sneaky. 20 seconds left on the clock. Eternity, they are turning it up. 1 kill separating these 2 squads. Can they find it? Xborg, bring it back to 2. They've taken a kill here. Eternity firing back. 10 seconds left on the clock. Xborg fire back. 44 to 42. They've got 2 in a row.
20
Eternity,
side.
43.
20
Xborg,
side.
45. 44. Okay, Eternity, if they can find that one, it's
Nah.
46 to 44 Xborg. Just in the nick of time. They tie it all up 2-2. We're heading to game 5, Sneaky.
Yeah, Xborg.
39 for Xborg. Jesus, big boy going on fire.
What is Big Boy on? You can call him Finals MVP in this one, especially in this very last game. Xborg 3 kills left from getting that big 1,000 USD check and being a lot more richer right after this game.